So, we've got a number 1 deluxe meal. Is there anything else I can get you?
Yeah, I'd also like a good night's sleep.
Excuse me, sir?
You know, the I didn't struggle all night with my uncomfortable CPAP mask, or something like the my wife didn't kick me out to sleep on the couch because of my constant tossing and turning.
Sir, we don't have anything like that here. I think what you're looking for is Inspire. It's an implant that works inside your body to treat sleep apnea without a CPAP. That way you can breathe normally and rest more soundly.
Come on!
Oh, he sounds hangry. Inspire is the only FDA-approved sleep apnea treatment of its kind. It's helping tens of thousands of people finally get restful sleep. To learn more, visit InspireSleep.com. That's InspireSleep.com. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you, and review important safety information at InspireSleep.com.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
Please welcome movie star Pee Wee Herman.
Morning, Pee Wee! Morning, Mr. Breakfast! Can I have some Mr. Cheese cereal? Okay!
I was in an improvisation group in Los Angeles, the Groundlings, and they focused on character work and developing and creating characters. So he came out of an improv.
Morning, Pee Wee.
Look, Francis.
Today is my birthday, and my father said I can have anything I want.
Good for you and your father.
So guess what I want? A new brain. No, your bike.
It's not for sale, Francis.
Okay, here we go. Showtime.
Oh, man, what a damn sad thing here. We were just talking about Paul Rubens last week. What a sad loss.
That's a real bummer. You know, we talked about this before, where one of the ways you realize you're getting old, one of them for sure is every professional athlete is 20 years younger than you, or before you looked up to him as, you know, the older statesman.
Old enough to be their
That must be
dads.
weird, yeah.
And now people that meant so much to you growing up are starting to die off. And Pee Wee Herman, boy, did I love his movies and his television show.
Ain't that the truth? Sorry to have to pass this along, bust this out on you if you hadn't heard. Sorry to shock you if you haven't heard the news at this ungodly hour of 5:43. But yeah, Paul Rubens, who created the character Pee Wee Herman and turned that bit into effing gold. I mean, one of the greatest comedic characters ever. He has died. He was only 70 years old.
It was such a good character that people called him Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
I thought that was like his name.
Yeah,
until right now.
That's what I'm saying.
did, yeah.
A lot of people thought he was Pee Wee Herman. That was his name. He was, you know, such a powerful character, hilarious character. That show was so unique, so fun.
Boy, that Francis was a prick.
He was a real jerk. Really entitled.
That was his neighbor, the kid in the neighborhood, right?
The rich kid.
Yeah.
There's so many quotable moments from that movie. I mean, anybody here, maybe, you know, you guys are a little younger, but when that movie came out, you know, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, when you'd fall off your bike or you'd biff somehow, you'd say, I meant to do that from the movie.
I watched that movie. I mean, I was young, but I watched that movie every day for about 6 years.
Oh, you got into it.
Oh, it was one of the few VHS tapes we had. We taped it off the TV, and on a blank tape, I still remember the Scotch tape across and then the handwritten Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and I watched that every day until the tape broke. And I'm honestly suspect that my parents might have just snipped it. Like, okay, this kid's got to be done with Pee Wee Herman.
And Large Marge, the truck driver, when her eyes popped out of her, I was scared. That scared the heck out of me. I was in 5th grade, and I remember being really scared by that scene.
I'd love to play along, but I really don't have, outside of remembering the dickhead character in the neighborhood, Francis, remembering Pee-wee's bicycle was a big attraction. I shouldn't say a big attraction, a big part of his character. And the Large Marge trucker scene, which was Ann B. Davis.
I think you're right.
From the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
I didn't really get into the movies. I remember the television program.
So you never been to the basement of the Alamo?
I don't know the reference. Yeah, see, so
that's one of the places he had to look for his bike.
I mean, I know I saw the movie when it came out in 1986. I remember him dancing to the song Tequila.
Yep. You remember, and he knocked over all those tough bikers, their motorcycles.
No, I see.
Oh man,
Yeah,
I was so
good.
scared for him.
I never got into it to where I was watching his movies repeatedly, but I remember the television show.
You never said to a girl, "I'm a loner, Dottie, a rebel." That's why you couldn't date?
No, I remember. I know you are, but what am I?
Oh, that whole bit.
Yeah.
That little sarcastic bit was a big part of Pee Wee's character.
I know you are, but what am I?
Right. But yeah, I wasn't dialed completely in, but I always had great appreciation and respect for the character. And like I just said, I do recognize it as one of the greatest comedic characters ever.
Yeah, I totally agree. I had misremembered the order of events. I thought the show got popular and then they made the movie, but it was the other way around. 1985, Pee-wee's Big Adventure comes out, and then about 3 years later, the next year, Pee-wee's Playhouse comes out, the television show, and
So
3
the
years
movie-
later they make the sequel to the movie.
movie came first.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I guess I didn't realize that either. Yeah.
I remember on the television show, he had his windows talk to him, his chair talk to him,
His chair, Cherry.
his clocks would. It was hilarious.
Phil
And
Hartman as the genie.
Yep.
They had the word of the day. The word of the day, by the way, is sorrow. After this news,
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's
and the
fitting.
Mecca Lecca High, Mecca Honey Ho. You know that whole deal.
I remember something about that. Was that like the rallying cry of the Pee Wee's fans?
No, that's what the genie would say.
Oh. The word of the day. Now, remind me of this, Josh. When you were sitting as a child or an adult and watching Pee Wee's television show, when you heard the word of the day, you were to scream as loud as you possibly could.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had a teacher that would do that. That patterned after Pee-wee's Playhouse.
That's cute.
He would have a word of the day, and it was a smart way to get us to pay attention to what he was saying.
Yeah, it was.
Because normally we tune out, but instead it's like, well, no, I want to scream at the word of the day.
Yeah.
So the teacher would tell you when you walked in the room what the word of the day was, and then sneak it in Summers, and all he is would scream.
We would scream, and then he'd know who wasn't paying attention.
That's really smart.
That's brilliant, actually.
Grade school kid?
Yeah.
Okay, the word of the day gimmick almost killed me of a heart attack. Oh, how old am I now? This is probably 20-some years ago. I started dating a girl around that time who was a massive Pee Wee Herman fan. And she was just crazy about the show. She told me how it was an everyday thing for her to sit as a little girl and watch Pee Wee. Around the time we started dating, there was a resurgence of Pee Wee popularity. He did a handful of shows for a network. So this was, early 2000s, right? Do you remember anything about this Pee Wee? I mean, he's had a few, resurgence is the only word I can come up with, where he had a show, a Christmas special. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
Okay.
he's been in some TV shows where he had a popular, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I haven't seen some of these. I didn't see the movie Blow. I remember
he's great in Blow.
There was an episode of 30 Rock he was in that's considered one of the best episodes of that sitcom. So
Okay.
Yeah, he's been around here and there.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking specifically about a resurgence. Someone give me a word that I can use other than that, because I'm stuck here. I'm talking about where Pee Wee's television show made a comeback for, a few weeks and then went away for that. That's what I'm talking about. So anyway, I'm dating this gal who loved Pee Wee Herman, and his show became a thing again. And she's sitting just like she did when she was a little girl in my townhouse and watching Pee Wee's program. And then suddenly she screams bloody murder as if she's just been stabbed with a screwdriver by an intruder, right? She's on the main level. I'm upstairs. I come running downstairs. I'm prepared to see her body dismembered. And she's still just sitting in front of the television. And I said, what the hell was that? She, just like when she was a little girl, she screamed as loud as she could at the word of the day. I didn't appreciate that at the time.
Probably not.
I
no.
didn't remember the word of the day bit after all those years. Too bad about Pee Wee.
Good show,
Paul
man.
Paul Rubens,
Paul
to
Rubens,
be exact.
70 years old, died after a battle with cancer he didn't tell anybody about.
He released an apology for not telling people about it.
Yeah, he pre-wrote an apology, posted it on social media. Just like Norm Macdonald, right?
Yeah.
As far as didn't tell anybody. Nobody really knew. Even some of his closest friends had no idea he was going through cancer.
6-year battle.
We will we'll keep Paul Rubens in our hearts today. He was terrific. And thank you for tuning into the show this morning. Sorry to sadden you, like I said, right from the friggin' get-go, but...
You know what might calm me down? Getting some legal weed today.
Yeah.
That might help bury my sorrows.
Get high.
There's some kind of marijuana thing happening today, although I'll admit that I have no idea what it all means. So we're going to talk with the owner of a local dispensary today, and he can explain the whole schmear on the radio for us.
I got to say, yesterday off air, the stoners on the program were clearing up to me and Nick some of the rules. We're like, okay, so tomorrow's the big day. And you're like, well, not really. I'm like, well, wait a minute. What's all these news that everybody's talking about? Everybody's super excited. It's going to be illegal. And you guys were saying that's not exactly the case.
Yeah.
So there's very few... I'll let you explain it because I'm confused.
It's all so confusing, but you can't, really buy weed yet. You can buy seeds and stuff like that. You can get THC drinks at dispensaries.
Well, what about edibles and stuff?
You can get edibles, but it's only up to a certain amount of THC in there.
So the way I understand it, Wapo, tell me if I'm right here. The same stuff that I could have walked into the store and bought yesterday is the same stuff that's going to be available today.
Yes.
And there's no difference?
No.
They can sell recreational marijuana, like actual flower and stuff, on Indian reservations starting today.
And I guess there's only one.
There's only one, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
See, that's what
I
Josh
was looking at it yesterday.
That's where Josh is going with this. He and I have been completely tuned out to this for the most part.
I thought I could fill a suitcase full of weed. Well,
Yeah.
I know there's limits, but I thought I could just go in and get a big bag of weed if I wanted.
Yeah.
I think it all has to do with how long it takes. I think today you can start applying to certain licenses that you have to have in order to sell recreational marijuana.
I mean, this is all stuff we can talk to the owner of High North about.
This-
But I was reading that 2025
Yes.
is actually when you can go buy joints.
It'll
and
be
stuff.
like Colorado where you can just walk in, get joints, get flour.
2025.
It's kind of, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of last year. Everyone's like, oh my God, Metallica, they're coming back to US Bank Stadium.
Oh my, so true.
Yeah. When, oh, yeah, sweet. August. That's great. August when? 2024. Or when you have to do an announcement at a concert. All right, everybody, you super excited to see Megadeth. Yay, we're super. All right, they'll be up in 20 minutes.
Yeah. Hang tight, everybody.
I actually had that. One of my buddies was like, yeah, I've got a Metallica concert coming up in August. I'm like, the one here? I'm like, that's in next year. He's like, what?
But yeah, so yesterday was kind of a buzzkill for Josh and I.
Yeah, and I have no intention to partake whatsoever, but I was happy for people like you guys who are excited about it. And you're saying, well, no, there's really going to be no difference from what we can do today from what we can do tomorrow. Or very little difference.
Every friggin' night on the news, there's some effing pot hype report, right?
Yeah.
But my fault that I haven't paid attention to the specifics because I read this doesn't affect me at all. But I had it in my head that August 1st, man, or whatever. What's the date today?
August 1st.
I had it in my head that August 1st, marijuana is just going to be busting out of our ears around here.
Oh, yeah,
Josh and I walk out to the lobby. Hey, tomorrow's the big day, huh? Wap will actually say, no.
Yeah, dude, me and Waffle would be way more psyched.
Oh, yeah.
If today was. I don't think I wouldn't be here.
We'll find out
That's
from
not
this
like
dude.
you.
I'd be waiting. We'd be waiting in line somewhere.
Yeah, it's more like if you have weed now, you can't get in trouble for having it on you.
Okay, so you're carrying around a
yeah.
bag of weed, and the cops are like, hey, you can't do that. Give
Yeah.
me some. Because
Yep.
that kind of thing.
Oh, is
Yeah.
it like in?
And you can give someone weed, You can't sell them weed.
Well, then give
but
me
you
some
can
weed.
Give them weed. You can gift them weed.
Oh, what a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
You know,
what an absolute
I was
pain in
just
the
saying,
ass.
Confusing. It's so weird.
Yeah,
You know-
I'm excited to talk to the guys from High North then, so they can explain it to us better.
The joint is called High North Dispensary. We'll be talking to the owner. You know the guy's name?
Yeah, Tyler.
Tyler Thompson.
yeah,
We'll talk to him around 8:20 this morning. Maybe he can line us up and straighten us out and tell us what the F is going on around here.
It's awesome that he's going to open up a little early, to let us do something like this. And so, Dana, tell everyone what you'll be doing today.
I'll be handing out munchies at the Uptown locations, right on Hennepin. It's right near my place, and I'll be handing out some chips, some candy, some Rice Krispie treats. So if people want to continue to smoke some weed and enjoy their munchies, you can come grab some from me.
8 a.m.?
8 a.m. I'll be there.
You'll be there? All right.
F me
But it's right
running.
by your place?
Yep.
Yeah, I like that you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a party at your house?
Yeah, it's funny you brought
we gonna
that
go
up.
chill?
Tournament or something.
Well, I was just thinking of that because I know exactly where it is because I drive by it every day on my way in and out of work.
Oh,
So,
cool.
and you're at the Uptown location?
Yep.
That's about 20 to 25 minutes from my place, if anyone was curious.
You could go to the Inver Grove or Cottage Grove location, though.
Take
That's
me less
closer.
time. Yeah, you're right on that one.
We
Those
already
will be open in that
didn't we
tent.
cover that yesterday? Inver Grove and Cottage Grove?
Yep.
Nobody's
He's in the groves.
going to go there. Well, we're excited to hopefully get straightened out on this later on today.
We're just less excited than we were before 9 a.m. or after 9 a.m.
Yeah, I was picturing, because I was the same boat as you guys, I was picturing me walking into the place and just seeing joints lined up and just piles of weed everywhere, but it's still just the edibles and the drinks.
You know what it kind of reminded me of, Josh? Well, you and I have we've probably displayed characteristics of a married couple before, haven't we?
I think so.
We've been working together for so long. But yesterday when we came out into the lobby and, being the older folks on the program, hey, kids, are you excited about that weed? And you all said, no, because we don't know really what's going on. It's kind of like, did you ever have this moment where your parents tried to bond with you?
Yep.
Oh, yep.
And they came off totally uncool, and you weren't shy about making them feel bad about it?
No. I know. I mean, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've had the same situation with my kids where I've thought, I'm on the cusp of something cool. They're going to, I'll show up and I'm wearing like a Patagonia shirt. I don't have one, but let's say I did that. And they'll be like, this is just an example. I don't know if it's cool or not. I'm like, that's no longer cool.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I was just right on top of something like that.
Right.
I can picture a parent in the mid 90s, not really paying attention to what their child is involved in, and that parent walks in the room and says, "Hey, how about that new Kids on the Block?" Huh? And then the kid says, "No, they were cool a few years ago. You don't even know what's going on. Now I'm into Boys to Men." Anyway, we'll find out what's going on. And then, but then also, we may likely still be very confused after our conversation with Tyler Thompson from High North Dispensary. I can't get a lock in on all this confusing marijuana stuff.
Well, I can tell you after yesterday's conversation and the things are gonna happen today, I want that stoner reputation of them just maybe not understanding things to go away, because you guys are so learned on this topic with all the ins and outs of what you can and can't do. And Wapple could tell you anything about any strain. I mean, that stereotype has to disappear. Listen, you sound like a scholar.
Yes.
You come across like Will Ferrell in Old School when he's up there giving the speech. You just snap into it, and you're in the lane.
Just like, great, what's this douche going to say? Oh, wow, actually, I kind of learned something there.
It is crazy. You sound like a learned scientist on some of these things.
Definitely.
But yeah, I mean, I was borderline heartbroken. And it has nothing to do with me. Yes, I mean, just yesterday sitting there going, well, what? Well, why were we making such a big deal out of this?
Yeah, it's a whole new vibe around here, Cubby.
Yeah, kind of, I guess.
Yeah.
So is there anything different you can buy?
For God's sake.
Well, I'm still trying to wrap my head around, and I'm sorry if this is annoying, but
Yeah, you can get seeds.
That's the difference.
And you can start growing your own plants at home. But now the plants have to be inside. They have to be locked. You can't grow it outside.
Oh, my
Hey,
God.
I want a hamburger. Oh, here's a cow. God. This is all, it really is all so simple. You can get seeds and start growing your... if I were into marijuana, I would be so pissed at that.
It's a little aggravating, but
Oh,
we'll
great!
get there.
I can start growing plants.
Yeah.
You know, that's not what I want to hear.
Yeah, I'm not growing any
All
plants.
right, I'll get high in
No.
6 months from now.
Put me to, yay! They're gonna put me to work. I have to go get some soil and whatever the hell you do.
Then you have to get a
The
tent, and
lighting
you have
is
to get
expensive.
the light, and it's going to cost a bunch, and ventilation.
But at the store, the only thing different to buy is the seeds, you're saying?
Yep, you can get seeds.
I want a beer. They hand you a sack of barley.
Some yeast.
Yes,
Here you go.
here is some yeast. The rest is up to you. Oh boy, this is going to be good. I sure am thirsty.
Can't wait for about 7 months.
You go
Friggin' A.
Yeah, you go buy some, you're going to buy a car. They just give you some rubber just to start with the tire.
No, they just give you the tires. Here you go.
Fill the
Figure it
rest
out.
yourself.
Friggin' left-handed cigarettes. They've been causing trouble from the get-go. Left-handed cigarettes. Did anyone else's dad refer to them as left-handed cigarettes?
No.
Never.
My old man always called it the left-handers. What are you, on dope? He used to ask us a lot if we were on dope. Remember the story?
I ask the kids that sometimes.
Remember the story of, not to break your heart, Josh, but when my sister started dating this dude who was big into smoking marijuana cigarettes.
Yep.
And my sister was kind of apprehensive about introducing this kid to my dad because my dad is an old school farm boy, truck driving, veteran amputee. You know, he's a tough guy. And tough guys drink beer. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Tough guys don't smoke grass. Guys from my dad's generation, all of his buddies, left-handed cigarettes. What are you, are you soft or something? You can't handle a case of beer? That's their attitude, right? So my sister was apprehensive about introducing, and she had the guy over for dinner, and my dad and this kid, the guy that my sister was dating, they hit it off. And the guy he had a great personality. He's very funny. Turned out to be an absolute whack bag, but I can tell you that story some other time. But my dad and this guy hit it off, and at the end of the dinner, as my sister and her boyfriend were leaving the house, the guy says to my dad, he extends his hand and says, "It's real nice to meet you, Mr. Bourne." My dad shook his hand way more legitimately than I thought he was. I mean, he liked the guy, and he shook the guy's hand and he said, "You know, you're not bad for a guy who's on dope."
You know, your sister only really has one flaw, and that's 2 guys she dated, 2 of her choices for boyfriend. And, you've told me stories about this particular one, and woo-wee. But I kind of think the other one was worse. Former coworker of ours.
He ain't kidding.
That's her only flaw, her one flaw.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
I want to know who it is.
She's charitable.
No, you don't. You don't.
I don't. I'm going to be disappointed.
You've never met this person.
Okay.
Yeah, no one would know who this person was.
Oh, Tiny Thompson from High North Dispensary. Tyler Thompson from High North Dispensary will be joining us at 8:20 to try to straighten us out on all this dope. Before that, 7:30, Dick Bremer.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Dick Bremer's going to jump on air with us at 7:30. He's in St. Louis, Missouri to cover that Twins-Cardinals series. Today's the trade deadline. We'll see what he has to say about this or that connected to the trade deadline.
You know what Randy Shaver always says about the trade deadline? Are they going to be buyers or sellers, he likes to say.
Yeah, he wears that one out, doesn't he? Jesus criminy. He just beats us over the head with that. All right, what a wonderful thing to have you along here on the program. It's Tuesday. We got plenty to do, as you have already heard. We'll take a little break, and we'll be back here before you know it, potheads, on the 93X Half-Fast Morning Show.
You're listening to the radio. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
Mix a little sports analysis, pop culture, and great interviews, and you've got the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
The Jets are bracing themselves into doing Hard Knocks this year.
Bracing themselves. Look, coaches want to control the controllables. They don't want to have a camera crew in the building. You know, I know that they want to lie low. This is what happens when you go and swing for the fences and get Aaron Rodgers. Are you kidding me?
The Rich Eisen Show podcast, wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah. So like we were telling you, later on, we're going to try and learn more about what today means for marijuana consumers. Something is happening, we just don't understand it. At 8:20, a dude from High North Dispensary will be jumping on air and try to clear things up on this whole weed gimmick. But I did receive a text. One new law is very clear that goes into effect today, and one of our listeners is pretty excited about it. They texted in to say, hey, starting today, you can roll through stop signs on a bicycle.
That's right, you can.
Really?
Yep.
Don't they already do that anyway?
Yeah, but now you can't be batoned for it.
Now I can't
In the news,
cuss
we'll
when they do it.
highlight some other laws. There's dozens of laws.
Really? Huh.
Today in Minnesota, new laws, so we'll
I was
roll
not
through
aware.
some of those, just like the bicyclists can on stop signs.
Maybe the bicycle law is fitting with the untimely passing of the great Pee Wee Herman. Because that sumbitch loved his bicycle.
He did.
Sure did.
Traveled across the country to find it.
All right, let's dial into the stupid news. I gotta pay more attention. My lack of attention is one of my worst character traits. If I would have been aware of this, I would have been all over it. A couple in India sold their 8-month-old baby so they could buy a cell phone. And lately, I've been interested in buying a decent used baby. But I missed this altogether.
What would you do with a baby?
I don't know, whatever you do with them. What do you do with them? You take them to relatives' homes and you...
The zoo?
Post pictures of them on social media?
Yeah, the zoo. No, I won't get involved in your stupid social media, Dane. I'll go to the zoo.
It is interesting. You sell them when they're a baby, their highest value. Buy them back when they're a teenager, they're worth next to nothing.
Yeah.
That's the way to really make money.
That's the move.
That's the economy I want to live in.
To be exact, this couple upped and sold their 8-month-old baby to buy a new iPhone 14. Does anybody here have the number 14 edition iPhone?
I do.
Is that the newest one?
It is.
Okay.
You like it, Josh? Is it wonderful?
Yeah, it's a lot different. The last one I had was, 7, 8 years old. And so I finally upgraded because they stopped updating the one I had.
Oh. They got you.
Yeah, they did. And I'm a fan.
This couple's been arrested.
Now I'm just going to wait for the text, people calling me a prick because I have an iPhone. Let's see how it goes.
Is that...
Team iPhone forever.
Why would people call you a prick for having an iPhone?
Well, it's, there's a bit of a... Well, I don't even know if it's a rivalry, but sometimes, we get picked on.
By Android users.
That's right.
Cough, cough, wobble.
And me.
Pick on you?
Sometimes, yep.
Who farted? Did anyone hear that?
Sounded like somebody hit their microphone.
Sounded like a fart to me. Okay, here's the whole story. These two people, these parents, were obsessed with the new iPhone. The new Apple, what did I call it?
iPhone 14.
Yeah, that telephone. They're obsessed with it. Were obsessed. They go by the names of J-Dev and Safi Gosh. And one day their neighbors noticed that they were showing off this new phone to everybody in town. And all the neighbors knew that this couple didn't have the kind of monies it takes to buy one of those damn iPhones. And the neighbors also noticed that they were no longer toting their baby boy around town much. And Jadev and Sathi didn't give anybody a straight answer on where their little baby had gone off to. They didn't come off too terribly concerned about their baby's disappearance.
Sketchy.
They were just occupied with fingering this new phone up and down. So neighbors called the cops. And once the police turned the screws on them, the mother, Sathi, she admitted to selling the little boy to a woman so she and Jadev could buy an iPhone 14 and then become Instagram famous while traveling around making videos.
No way.
They could just time this out perfectly to update their phone every year. Just have a new baby, before every September or October-ish when they put out the new iPhones.
Never pay for a phone again, right?
No.
Also, I haven't been in the market to buy a baby, but I feel like you get more than just the price of an iPhone 14 for a kid.
You would think.
Not your kid. Like maybe the average kid.
What is an iPhone 14? What are those? What do you have to give them in trade for one of those?
Maybe like $1,000.
Oh,
right?
I
Or more
wouldn't
than
pay.
that?
I wouldn't give you more than $1,000 for a baby.
I trade my kid in, and all I get is like a Nokia 2600 from 1999.
You get a landline.
Yeah. Now, as if selling their little toddler son wasn't bad enough, Jadev and Sathi allegedly also attempted to sell off their 7-year-old daughter, but they couldn't close any deals on her.
Is she difficult?
Is she difficult?
Yeah, the kid.
At 7?
It doesn't say anything. There's no product information here, Ashley, on the 7-year-old.
Wait, you have an iPhone 14.
I do?
Yeah, you should know what they go for trade, as you call it.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay, fair enough. There you go.
Dana, instead of a phone, it's bigger when it's warm out, Jesus said. You'd get a cup and a string. I remember trying that as a kid.
Didn't work very well, did it?
Oh, it worked.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
The first conversation Josh and I ever had was through cups and strings. He was in Minneapolis. I was in Wayzata. That's how we first met. The police were able to track down this little baby boy and the lady that bought him. And that lady and this whack-bag couple have all been charged with, human trafficking.
That's pretty gross.
Yep.
That's pretty frowned upon, yeah.
I mean, I can't believe they didn't have any worry as to what was going to happen to that baby.
I don't have any real specifics on this, but the story closes out by saying police, that's not the word, people have done some crazy things to get their hands on iPhones. One man has been disabled for life after selling one of his kidneys for an iPhone.
Oh, man.
Here's a hell of a deal. Somebody or another up there in Ontario is on Reddit warning other customers about Ontario's strict rules for alcohol sales after a grocery store, the cashier at a grocery store, told him he couldn't purchase alcohol because his toddler sitting in the grocery cart, kind of a scene that people do, when they put the kid in the little toddler sitting in the grocery cart, touched the booze.
Oh, yeah. They're very serious about that.
It laid its little filthy baby hands on the bottles, and that's a no sale in Ontario.
So you were aware of that, Ashley?
Yep, because I was in
Trading
Canada.
babies for alcohol?
Yes, exactly. When I went to Canada underage, my boyfriend at the time was of age in Canada, and I think I held the bottle for him for a little bit, I was like holding the booze that he was going to buy, and they wouldn't let us buy it. Like we both had to leave the store, and then he had to come back in by himself. It was really weird.
Yeah, but this is a baby.
Yeah, true. I mean, yeah, they probably thought, oh, she's going to drink it, which maybe. But.
Right. Well, of course you would have.
Yeah, you were definitely going to drink it.
I believe this was the story the guy told on Reddit. It was the dude and his old lady and their 2-year-old son were strolling around the grocery. The young kid was sitting in the cart seat, and he's fidgeting with everything, always with the touching with the little kids, right, Josh?
Yeah.
They're always
putting it in their mouth.
Don't touch that. You can't, right? And the cashier said, no dice on the booze. And the dad said to the cashier, look, I would get it if this child was of an age where they might drink it, but this is a baby. But it's the law up there. The law says, while browsing for booze, folks must be sure that if they're with someone underage, the underage person must not directly handle the product at any point. Now, enforcing these mandates or laws or whatever specifically you might call it is up to the cashier. They have discretion. The cashier can turn the screws or they can let it go. They have the power to determine your fate. So a lot of folks commented on this on Reddit. Some thought the cashier was being a little extreme, but another said when it comes to things like alcohol, a lot of people don't want to mess around, and that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
With your underage, what's that? What do they call that again? Contributing to minors and all that kind of thing.
Seems a bit extreme. I think a reasonable person would assume the parents weren't buying a case of beer for a 23-month-old.
Right. That's a little much, but I get it.
A couple of weeks ago at the grocery store, they sell 3-2 beer here at grocery stores in Minnesota.
Oh, I can't get enough of that 3-2 beer.
You love it, don't you? Well, this guy I saw,
love to urinate.
He couldn't get enough of it because he had a 12-pack sitting in, where the baby usually sits in the front part of the cart.
Sure.
And he just had a beer going. He took one out and was drinking it while pushing his cart.
No, he didn't.
Good for
Yes.
him.
Where was this?
At, I don't want to say the name of the store, but a grocery.
Well, it's not the store's fault.
Well, yeah, but a grocery store in Minneapolis.
I'll be damned. Yeah, that contributing to minors is a hell of a deal. I remember my neighbor. Boy, I had a neighbor years ago. He liked to party. He did. And one night he was hosting his son's high school graduation party. And I was leaving. I was going off summers to work. But as I was leaving, I said hello to everyone. Big tent, bunch of people partying. And here comes my neighbor. He's like, hey, when you're done working, swing by the party. I said, aren't you a little nervous about all the teenage kids? No, they've all promised they're going to spend the night tonight. I'm not worried. They're going to be fine, and I'll be fine. I said, all right, I'll check back when I get home from work. Later that night, I pulled in. I said, where's Donnie? He's in jail. He got arrested for contributing to minors.
Oh, that sucks.
Brutal.
The kids were still drinking.
I bet they were. They didn't care.
The cops made them leave, and they just kind of walked into the woods and acted like they were leaving and then came back. All right, Brad, where am I now? What was I just talking about? Oh, yeah, the drinking thing. And we started off talking about selling babies. Another brilliant decision here by someone trying to be famous for 10 minutes on social media, okay? Another brilliant decision by someone trying to be internet famous. A dude, he upped and got a light bulb stuck in his yap while trying to be accepted by 8th graders on Twitter or Instagram or one of those. I don't know what it was, but he's a Chinese man, don't you know? He showed up at the emergency room with the screw base of a light bulb sticking out of his mouth hole, so he had inserted the damn thing bulb first.
Oh. I have a buddy that would do stuff like that.
That gives me so much anxiety.
That was, he was revered.
That was his thing?
I mean, he could put his fist in his mouth. I mean, he could do a light bulb, no problem.
I used to be able to do that, the fist, and it was like a fun little party trick, but then I got my wisdom teeth taken out, and it just can't do it anymore. It doesn't work.
Really?
Yeah.
That affected it, huh?
Yeah, my jaw doesn't, I know it's just going to be heard the wrong way, but my jaw doesn't open up as big as it used to anymore.
Wow. There's probably some folks in our audience who would help you work on that. So the whole this whole nightmare started. The dude had the local fire department over to his house to try and help him with this light bulb stuck in his yap. The fire brigade showed up. And I love this part. When they walked up and saw what was going on, hilariously, this dude tried to explain his situation. Right. But of course, nobody could make out jack squat that he was saying because he's busy giving a light bulb a beach over here, you know?
I'm picturing him getting frustrated, too, that people aren't understanding what he's trying to say.
He's so mad, somehow the light bulb turns on.
The firemen decided that trying to yank the glass bulb out was a bad idea. They didn't want to tear the effing guy's mouth up if the glass broke, so they sent him off to the hospital that I was telling you about. At the hospital, dude couldn't open his mouth wide enough to safely remove the bulb, or I should say, doctors couldn't get the guy's mouth open wide enough to safely remove the bulb. So the doctors hauled out the jaw loosener.
Oh.
No.
You don't want to see him.
I'll show you a jaw loosener.
I bet you will, lover boy. You don't want to see him toting that jaw loosener into the room.
Not unless there's drugs beforehand.
It takes 2 doctors to carry the jaw loosener into the room. They dislocated his jaw for him so they could pull the bulb loose. Once he could talk, he said he had the bulb in his mouth for 2 hours.
I bet his jaw just was killing him.
And here he is, a middle-aged man, and he had to admit that he watched someone online successfully blast a light bulb in and out of their mouth, and he wanted to see if he could do it too. He's a grown, he's fully grown. He got his answer, didn't he, Cubby?
He sure did. I got a text here. Someone says that they had a guy call in to work because he dislocated his jaw and they couldn't understand a word he said. I bet that is so painful. Well, don't you get lockjaw, Ashley, or has that not happened in a while?
Yeah, I do. I have TMJ. I can't remember what it exactly stands for, but yeah, my jaw locks up constantly.
Oh, it's still going on. You haven't talked about it in a while.
Yeah, it still happens.
What does TMJ stand for?
I can't exactly remember some medical term, but
I get jock itch.
Jaw.
I get jock itch
Basically.
sometimes. That's TMI.
Every time I open up my mouth, it pops. It cracks. It's terrifying when it does lock because it's like when you have a cramp in your leg, you know you have to move your foot and your leg to get it out, but it's gonna hurt trying to do it. Yeah, so like I know I have to like open my jaw or try to close it, but all that pressure makes you think it's just gonna like snap off.
Are you able to communicate like this? Like you can talk like this?
If it does lock, it usually locks open.
Oh!
So
yeah, that's what can it lock the other way? I thought it was just locking open.
yeah, usually actually I think for
It
people
locks
it's
open.
usually it locks closed.
Oh, I did not know that.
So you talk like this.
What's the longest it's ever been locked open?
Probably like 30 minutes.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. I was minutes away from going to the ER.
It'd be so tempting to throw little bits of paper in your mouth.
TMJ doesn't stand for too many Johnsons. We have people claiming that TMJ stands for too many Johnsons. I don't think that. Temporal mandibular joint. Huh?
Sure.
Does that ring a bell?
That sounds right.
Others are telling me temporal mandibular joint.
Yep, something I can't say.
Add this to the Florida man pile. A dude lost a fist fight, so he got in his Corvette and ran over the dude who had just mildly kicked his ass. This is all on video. Josh, I know you'll agree with me, because we're in love, but also because I think the dude who won the actual fist fight really took it easy on the Corvette guy.
Oh, yeah, he could have beat him far worse.
It could have been a lot worse for Corvette guy. But
he looks like he can dish out a beating.
The other dude. But instead of being thankful that he had all his teeth after being involved in a fist fight that was a complete mismatch, he ran the other dude smooth over. and mangled his legs. How do you know you're a sorry-ass human being when you have to use a car to win a fist fight?
Yeah. I'm glad he had the courage to do that.
Yes. The dude could have just walked away and took his medicine like a friggin' adult, but he didn't. It all started by way of the Corvette guy allegedly running a red light and almost running over the other dude who was walking his dogs. The fight started, ended quickly, and then here comes Sissy Ass in his Corvette to run the other guy over. Corvette Sissy is apparently a nurse. He was arrested.
Probably has a couple of bucks. Maybe this dog walker could get a couple bucks out of him.
And I call him a sissy because he ran someone over with a motor vehicle, not because he's a nurse.
Oh, I knew what you meant.
Just want to make it clear.
It's a good idea.
Smart.
People like to jump to conclusions and send. I have nothing but a great respect for nurses. I don't care what's swinging between their legs. Nurses, doctors, everybody. Well, Josh, it seems to me here that somebody tried to ruin everybody's night at the movies by bringing a fart noise machine into the theater while folks were trying to watch the Barbie.
It's tough to hear, but here's a clip of it.
Anyway. It's okay. I always thought this would be our house.
Could you hear it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I caught it.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as I'd hoped it would be, but...
Josh, I always want to please you. I do. So I'm going to read this Barbie pun here from the story. Even though I'm not going to enjoy it.
Well, and I don't want you to do it if you're not going to enjoy it.
Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. I want you to be happy. Compromise, sacrifice. That's what relationships are about.
You're a good friend.
Again, someone brought a fart noise machine into the Barbie movie. So here's the pun from the story. Come on, Barbie, let's get farty.
No thanks.
I know it's not your thing, but thank you.
That sucks. But no,
That's
you're
so silly.
You're welcome.
It's so dumb, it's hilarious.
Will you say it like they do in the song?
No.
Please.
I won't.
You're only willing to sacrifice so much?
I would do anything for love, but I'm not going to do that. No, why do you want me to say it like they say it in the song?
Well, because I don't think you can do it.
Oh, you son of a bitch, I can do it.
I don't think you can.
I don't want to do it, but I'm too proud. I got to prove that I can do it.
No way you can do it, no way.
Come on, Barbie, let's get farty. I told you I could do it.
That was so wrong. I feel like a fool.
Nick wins again. Another win for the pimp.
You manipulated me.
That'll teach you. All right, yeah, somebody brought the fart noise machine along with to see the Barbie movie. A lady who was in the theater at the time told the story on Twitter. Her name is Blair. Oh, well, she's apparently a staff writer for the Jimmy Kimmel Show. Well, I love that friggin' clip of, what was his name again, Chris Farley?
Yep.
Lottie freaking... No, that's very impressive. I bet you have fun as a staff writer for the Jimmy Kimmel Show. She was at the movie. She said at first folks found the fart sounds to be funny, but not for long. Apparently, the fart noise maker was being piloted by an adult lady. I wouldn't have guessed that.
I would assume a teenager or a middle schooler.
Group of teenage dodes is what I would have. This Blair lady said the fart maker was sitting directly in front of her. And the individual who's making all the noise had an app or something along those lines opened on their phone that was a library of fart sounds with over 1,000 different farts.
Dude. Wow.
Might download that app.
I must say, as an adult, it's still kind of funny if you ask your digital voice assistant to play some fart noise. Like if you have an Amazon device, she'll do that for
I've
you.
never done that.
This Blair lady said, look, I did laugh the first couple of times. I'm not a monster. But... here's the drawback. She says, I couldn't cry during the big monologue because all I heard was 1,000 farts. I just wanted to cry in the dark at the movies. Is that too much to ask?
Yeah, that would infuriate me so much.
What did you say this woman did for a living?
She worked as a staff writer for the Jimmy Kimmel Show.
Well, Lottie frickin' God!
Kids have it so easy nowadays. Just go into an app and getting all the fart sound effects you wanted.
Yeah, we had to use a whoopee cushion and hope it worked and hoped somebody sat on it and not noticed.
Yeah, and then we had the just fart machine that had just standard bad fart sound effects.
How rough you had it. Well, when I was a kid, you know what we had to do? We had to eat a bunch of tacos. There was no such thing as fart machines. We had to make them right there on the spot all by ourselves.
You had to be your own fart machine.
Use your armpit.
Listen to you. It's just terrible, the whining, and you had such a nice setup.
Was it Eddie Murphy who joked that when they were kids, if they wanted a jacuzzi, they had to fart in the tub?
That's right. That's right.
There are a lot of fart apps. I just looked at the App Store.
How many of them are you going to download?
All of them.
Now, there was apparently this Barbie movie. You know, everybody's masturbating from one end of town to the other over the Barbie movie. There was apparently also a mom-on-mom fist fight at a Barbie showing somewhere else. Not in the same theater with the farts, somewhere else. Two moms beat each other to death in the theater because one of the moms was allowing her child to watch YouTube videos through the whole movie. Both mothers were pronounced dead at the scene.
I think the story you have a little messed up.
I don't, it wasn't YouTube? What were they watching?
TikTok.
That would be pretty infuriating, but I don't think I'd beat up somebody over it.
Oh, there's been plenty of fights lately. It's weird about reserved seats.
It's just like an airplane ride nowadays.
It kind of is.
Everyone thinks that they should be given all possible accommodations. I'm at the theater, everyone. Step aside. Accommodate me in every way.
Did they not watch the preview screen where it tells you that you have to turn your phones off and your screens off?
They didn't watch that part.
Well, they were distracted by YouTube and TikTok.
It's the guy that sits in the front seat recliner. He's like, hey, folks, welcome to the movies.
To close this out, Josh, did you see what it says here? I bet your pals Beavis and Butthead would dig this. It says here at the end of the story, I don't know why they add this, it says here that Margot Robbie plays the titular character in the Barbie movie.
Mm-hmm.
Why are people getting upset over reserved seats? Because someone else is sitting in it?
Yeah, I think that's the gist.
Because it's 23, and everybody's just butthurt to the damn bone.
Yeah, because you can't just move to a different seat.
Well, the one you were assigned.
Yeah, you have to fight someone else, I guess.
Yeah, I'd be pretty thrown off if someone was sitting in my seat because I don't want to have to tell them to move.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't want to tell them to move. I'd just move myself. Okay.
Okay.
I guess
Can you please point me in the direction of your lesser seat that you paid for? So I can sit down? You got to go get the 16-year-old kid.
Yeah, they come in with a flashlight.
I was that kid. I had to do that.
Really?
My first job was at a movie theater.
Did you ever get cussed at by angry moviegoers?
No, thankfully.
We weren't such douchebags back then, Ashley.
True.
Did you ever catch anybody getting it on in the theater?
No.
Did you ever get it on in the theater?
Who are you asking, man? Hell no. Not for a lack of wanting to, maybe. Not even close. I had a hookup. I could get you. Well, it was a second-run theater, like a 99-cent theater.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, sure, if you wanted to come watch Ghost Dad starring Bill Cosby, pick a night. I'll get you in.
If you're just tuning in and you didn't realize the terrible news, if you're not aware of the terrible news, Paul Rubens, otherwise known as Pee Wee Herman, has died. 70 years old. It's very sad. But talking about getting it on at the movie theater. You want to talk about getting it on? No, that's not a Pee Wee Herman joke, for God's sake. I'm so sick of that effing joke. I got it on, Josh, to a level that I never thought possible while watching Paul Rubens on a movie screen.
Which movie?
Blow.
Oh, yeah, I never saw it.
Again, I'm not trying to be cute here. Yeah. I'm just saying.
I've never seen that one. It's Johnny Depp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a great movie. But, with our conversation about getting it on in a movie and then Paul Rubens, it all kind of folded together like that. I was sitting in the theater watching Blow with a young lady many years ago, and I could not believe. I mean, I knew I wanted to go that far in a theater. I had no idea that she would have wanted to go that far in a theater. And then it dawned on me, Johnny Depp with a suntan.
Yeah. He's good looking in that movie.
I knew you at this time.
Yeah.
Do I know the girl?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Word? Word?
I don't know why I made that noise. I apologize. I'd like to know. I'd like to know who that is.
Here's a guy. Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll be damned. Here's a guy who says he's got 2 penises hanging off of him.
Whoa. One more than normal.
I think you're right.
And he used both of them for sex. He only wants to go by the name of Tank here in the story. He's a truck driver. Well, hell yeah. At least this 2-penis blessing was bestowed upon someone with a career where he'll make good use of his special ability. Truckers crush ass, bro.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty sweet for a threesome, wouldn't it? Having 2 penises?
Yeah, beneficial, yeah.
I mean, on one person specifically?
Yeah.
Tank is a truck driver with the double dongs. He says he was born with them. And recently he's been talking to television shows and such about what they call here his unusual sex life. Diphalia or diphalia is the medical term. It's a genetic abnormality in which a player is born with 2 peckers.
Dihappia is what it would be for me.
Oh! According to the National Institutes of Health, less than 1,000 men and boys across the great United States are packing twice the regular cargo. Less than 1,000. Oh, no. Tank says that he was sent to a juvenile detention center after being convicted of manslaughter at the age of 12.
Oh, okay.
Is there such a thing as double dong rage, maybe? Did he have double dong rage? But
Extra
anyway,
testosterone, maybe?
he went to juvie. He's a much older man now. This is, I'm telling you, the beginnings of Tank's life story. So because he was in juvie, he was a virgin until he got released at the age of 24.
This guy's scary.
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
I'm scared.
So there he comes fresh out juvie hall at 24, and he says he set out to make the most of his gift.
Ugh, that's half his life.
He went ahead and said, women didn't believe it when I told them I had 2 penises, but then I took them to the room, and they'd see.
Ashley, somebody says they've got 2 penises.
Uh-huh.
Do you take a look?
Yeah, I'd look.
Wouldn't you assume it was a trick?
Yeah, I guess I'd be like, prove it right here, right now.
Oh, so
I'm
you
not
would.
going to a weird room with you, but prove it right here.
I'm not getting out of this cab until you prove it. I'm not getting... Okay, so what else did Tank say that you may or may not want to hear about? Oh, he can orgasm with both of them at the same time, even if only one piece was involved, if you know what he's saying there.
That's impressive.
That's cute. Ladies loved taking them both at once. One of his former ladies, he says, was smooth hooked on that gimmick, but they broke up. He said she wanted to be a porn star and she wanted us to do a video together. I probably would have made a lot of money.
Yeah, I bet he would.
But it hasn't been all laughs for Tank hauling around double barrels. It was difficult to have sex with only one of his penises at a time. And when he'd call them both into battle with a lady, sometimes the gals weren't always comfortable with that. So he hired a doctor to tear one of them right out at the roots.
Oh.
Nowadays, he's down to just one. His life as a double schmucked superhero are over. His days of doubling up are over. He has even more fascinating information here. How much time do I have here? Well, we're getting there. Tank says he has several family members who also have unusual things going on with their gear. His uncle was also born with diphalia, 2 penises. His dad has large testicles, quote, like a bull.
How do you know?
So there you go. How about that tank? Some other effing guy with phallia, whatever the hell it is, 2 penises. Some other guy with 2 penises answered questions on Reddit about his condition. Were any of you involved in that? Did you ask him any questions?
No, I didn't.
This dude upped and wrote a book. You want to know the title of the book so you can read it? It's called Doubleheader.
It's so dumb. I love it.
I better be more specific so you don't find the autobiography of Ozzie Smith or something, a baseball player. Doubleheader, My Life with 2 Penises.
Cool.
That is pretty cool, Ashley.
Yeah,
You're damn
wow.
right about that.
Good for him. I bet that's a really long book.
You.
We can't close out on that. We can't.
Oh, I've thought of worse. I just kept them in my head.
Did you?
Yeah.
Save them for sports?
Oh, no, I think the moment is past.
We'll
It's pretty cringy.
That's where we're headed next.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, I lost my job at ESPN over it. You know, it all makes some mistakes. I was at my boy's birthday party. We was playing poker, and it was girls just there dancing and a lot of alcohol. It was a big old controversy. I mean, it wasn't nothing illegal. It was just girls.
Who put it on social media?
I accidentally did. My dumb ass.
Bitch, how old are you?
How old are you? Who asked him that?
Grow up.
Well, Paul Pierce. I've had enough of Paul Pierce.
Oh, you tired of Paul Pierce?
Oh, my God. Enough with this. Jesus. Okay, so you smoke pot and you like strippers and you pooped your pants in a playoff game. You know what I mean? Find a new friggin' tune, Paul Pierce. But anyway, there he was talking about when he got canned from ESPN with the weed and the stripper.
Yeah, and how it happened. It was too much alcohol. And
yeah. Who said, how old are you?
That was Lance Armstrong.
The guy who used to ride a bicycle?
Yeah, there's a show called Stars on Mars, like a reality show. And Paul Pierce is a part of it, and he was telling that story.
Lance Armstrong, the guy who used to ride bicycles.
He said bitch.
He called him a bitch?
He sure did.
That's so cool.
That's funny.
Different edge of Lance Armstrong.
Yeah.
Never
it's so
thought I'd
weird.
see that.
Nope.
Jesus. All right. That was very funny. We're going to talk to Dick Bremer today. I always enjoy Dick. At 7:30, he's going to be live from St. Louis, Missouri. The Twins fire up a 3-game series tonight, 6:45 on Bally Sports North. Pablo Lopez is on the bump. We'll talk about the trade deadline, which is today. I'm sure we'll talk about coming up this weekend. Joe Mauer goes into the Twins Hall of Fame. We're looking forward to Dick Bremer's visit, along with Randy Shaver. Coming up next, Josh's News Report.
You're listening to the radio. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
Are you currently enjoying the show on the Stitcher app? Then you need to know Stitcher is going away on August 29th. Yep, going away, as in kaput, gone, dead. Rest in peace, Stitcher, and thanks for 15 years of service to the podcast community. So switch to another podcast app and follow this show there. Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
A lot of things about me you don't know anything about, Daddy. Things you wouldn't understand. Things you couldn't understand. Things you shouldn't understand.
I don't understand.
You don't want to get mixed up with a guy like me. I'm a loner, Daddy. A rebel.
Paul Rubens, the actor and comedian whose character Pee Wee Herman became a cultural phenomenon throughout films and TV shows, has died, sadly. He died Sunday night at the age of 70 after a 6-year struggle with cancer that he didn't make public. Please accept my apology for not going public with what I've been facing the last 6 years, Rubens shared in a posthumous Instagram post yesterday. I've always felt a huge amount of love and respect from my friends, fans, and supporters. I've loved you all so much and enjoyed making art for you, he wrote. The happy-go-lucky, tight-suited, bow-tied Pee Wee Herman character first appeared in a stage show at the Groundlings in 1981. HBO taped an episode and aired it that same year. Pee Wee's Playhouse debuted on CBS in 1986 and ran through 1990. The TV show featured colorful characters, much like 1950s kids series Captain Kangaroo, including future Oscar nominee Lawrence Fishburne as Cowboy Curtis. It was preceded by the 1985 Tim Burton film Pee Wee's Big Adventure, in which Rubens' character is desperately searching for his lost bicycle.
My father said I can have anything I want. So guess what I want? A new brain. No, your bike.
It's not for sale, Francis.
Some of his last appearances were guest spots on The Connors, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, reprising his role from Buffy the Vampire Slayer in a 2019 episode of What We Do in the Shadows and the comedy 30 Rock. In other sad celebrity news, Angus Cloud, the 25-year-old who played drug dealer Fezco Fez O'Neill on HBO's Euphoria, has died. A source close to the family said the 911 recordings pointed to a possible drug overdose.
That one's so sad. Whew, such a good actor.
Awful.
I'm not familiar with Angus Cloud, but I'm passing on my condolences to his fans.
Only 25.
I thought you were going to say Angus Young, which would have caused me to up and walk smooth out of the room.
Oh, true.
My heart completely stopped there for a second.
Dozens of new state laws officially go into effect today as we enter August. While much has been made about the legalization of adult-use recreational marijuana, there's many other laws taking effect today as well. In what I'd imagine is a bummer of a week for drug dealers, you're likely aware that as of today, anyone 21 and older will be allowed to have up to 2 ounces of cannabis flower, 8 grams of concentrate, and 800 milligrams of edible products.
And now it's legal, and that is great news. Unless you're a weed dealer, and then it is terrible news.
Marijuana usage still won't be allowed at schools, multifamily housing buildings, anywhere minors could inhale the smoke, or anywhere smoking cigarettes and vaping is already banned. Also, most retail sales aren't expected to start until 2025, although there are exceptions. The process starts to expunge past misdemeanor marijuana-related convictions for Minnesotans. That's about to begin, but actually, it's going to be about a year now that I'm looking at the facts here, next August. There are several other new laws that begin today in Minnesota. We'll highlight a couple others, like anyone buying a catalytic converter will have to keep detailed records of who they bought it from. Additionally, anyone found with a detached catalytic converter without proper documentation could face a felony charge, and criminals convicted of stealing them will have to pay to replace the victim's catalytic converter. How about that? Bicyclists in Minnesota will now be able to go through stop signs without first coming to a complete stop, often referred to as the Idaho stop law. Starting today, cyclists won't have to stop at a stop sign if there isn't a vehicle in the area. Another new law expands GPS tracking for law enforcement. Starting today, agencies will be able to use GPS devices to track vehicles reported stolen. Police say the update will help cut down on high-speed chases. And digitally altering video or audio of someone to make the subject do or say something that didn't happen is now criminalized in Minnesota. Anyone who commits the act, known as making a deep fake without the consent of the clipped subject, will be violating Minnesota law.
I like that one. Boy, this whole weed thing is an exercise in patience, is it not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were talking about it earlier, and Nick and I learned from the other folks here on the show that it's not quite what we thought. I thought today was a free-for-all, and yay, weed, you can buy it everywhere.
Nope.
And it sounds like it's a little more confusing than that. At 8:20 this morning, we're sending Dana out to a place called High North, and you'll be handing out munchies for folks who want to stop by. Starting at 8? Is that when you're going to get there?
I'll be there by 8 o'clock.
Okay, you'll get there at 8. We'll put it on the air right around 8:20 or so, and we'll hopefully get some questions answered about today's big news? I don't know anymore.
Whatever it is.
A former Beatrice, Nebraska police officer living in Lincoln is accused of hiding cameras inside a woman's car and home. According to the search warrant, the woman discovered the tracking device underneath the front dash of her vehicle in March and turned it over to deputies. Later that month, the woman told the sheriff's office she discovered a camera hidden in a carbon monoxide detector, as well as cameras concealed in electrical outlets in a bathroom, bedroom, and living room. She reported the incident to deputies, saying she didn't agree to have the cameras in her house and didn't even know how they got there. Police checked the camera's files and saw 41-year-old Anthony Crisano in some of the recordings. In the affidavit, a Gage County deputy reported saying it appeared as if the former officer was setting them up. He was also seen adjusting a countertop mirror so that a reflection into the shower was visible.
Yeah.
Subsequent videos appear to show him installing the cameras in other rooms of the house. State Patrol investigators disassembled one of the cameras and discovered it had an antenna, which apparently allowed it to transmit to a cell phone. An examination by the Technical Crimes Unit found more than 6,000 recordings.
This guy's like some kind of wizard.
Yeah. Again, using that talent for evil.
How the hell do you figure all that out, sick bastard?
A homeless man in Florida was arrested for an unprovoked attack on a vacationing Ohio police chief. You know what? Actually, it's the other way around. Chad McCurdle, a 40-year-old who leads the police force in Boston Heights, Ohio, he was booked into jail just before 3 a.m. Friday after the police chief told police an apparently bogus story, claiming he was the one who had been attacked before officers found the actual victim, a homeless man. According to a report from the Key West Police Department, authorities responded about 1 a.m. after a taxi driver called 911 to report a man, later identified as McCardle, was banging on his door and telling him some people wanted to kill him, and he got stabbed in the face and chest.
Ugh.
The taxi driver told police McCardle was then lying on the sidewalk crying. Police responded and said that the stressed out and apparently lost McCardle couldn't give a clear story about the supposed attack or attackers. The police chief also had no injuries that were consistent with being stabbed. Seemed like that'd be pretty obvious.
Yeah.
In fact, he only had a few minor scratches at best. He claimed he'd gotten pushed and dragged into a vehicle outside of Dirty Harry's bar by two men, then was stabbed with a stick. The report states McCardle told authorities he then stabbed one of the alleged attackers with the stick, likely killing him.
Likely killing him?
That's what he said to the cops. This is all BS. He also reported losing his blue Hey Dude shoes. The report states that police checked surveillance footage and couldn't find any video evidence that matched his statements. They did, however, find a homeless man who told them that McCardle had kicked him in the back in the alleyway, then kicked him several more times after he fell to the ground.
What the hell is this guy doing?
I don't know. An officer wrote in a report that the attack happened for no apparent reason. They took the Buckeye State lawman into custody. Police ended up finding his shoes in an alleyway.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he got his shoes back.
This guy really raises hell when he's on vacation.
He does. Yeah, he likes to party and make up some easily disproven lies. Yeah, my arm was completely severed right at the elbow. A Florida woman is accused of dousing her sister's boyfriend with a pot of boiling water as he slept, apparently for no reason.
Oh, my damn.
The man, identified in 26-year-old Iona Spates' July 28th arrest report as Khalid Pittman, was asleep when the attack occurred at Spates' sister's home.
You don't attack somebody when they're dead asleep, for
No.
Pete's sake.
Her sister, Diamond McCauley, informed police that she brought Pittman to her house that day while packing her bags for an upcoming move. McCauley said amid the preparation, she received a call from her mom asking her to check on Spates, who was with her at the time. McCauley said when she went to check on her sister, she appeared to be cooking since a pot of boiling water was on the stove. But within moments after she turned her back and went into another room, screams rang out. When McCauley emerged from a laundry room and ran into her bedroom where Pittman was asleep, she told authorities she found Spates standing there, empty pot in hand, as Pittman screamed in pain.
Oh, boy.
Spates allegedly took a swing at her sister, police said, and the two entered into a physical altercation as Spates allegedly told her sister he has to go. Once the women separated, Pittman and McCauley fled the home and contacted police. Pittman told law enforcement he had no idea why Spates poured water on him. Spates later told arresting officers she was made uncomfortable in the home by his very presence. Spates' mother, Queen Golet, told police that she was on the phone with her daughter shortly before the alleged battery occurred. Spates cut the call off abruptly, prompting Gola to ask McCauley to check in on her sister.
You catch some of the names in there? Diamond.
Tough to miss.
Her mother's name is Queen.
And Lyona.
These are some special.
And it might even be, it's Lyonn apostrophe A. Lyon. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it.
Yeah, no.
They know how to get her done with the names. How's this?
It's an I. I'm sorry. Iyonn apostrophe A.
How's this guy who got splashed with boiling water doing?
He's a little more bubbly than he was.
Ooh.
Sounds like it was pretty bad.
I bet that's absolute. Do you think, even though he was in great pain, when his girlfriend and his girlfriend's sister started brawling, I don't know. Do you think he still had the strength to say, "Chick fight"?
I kind of hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be a shame if you let that moment pass. A 42-year-old Utah woman allegedly bit off part of her father's ear during a dispute. It was a large enough chunk. The victim was holding the chunk of skin in his hand when I arrived, an officer said. Upon arrival, the father stated his daughter, Rebecca Nelson, entered the residence and immediately made a threat to kill him. The father also claimed his daughter strangled him with both hands. The affidavit states that she then proceeded to forcefully bite his ear, resulting in the removal of a chunk. No further information about that incident was released.
Save that story. I want to hand it off to my dad. Make sure he knows who he's dealing with.
Well, he might be able to hand you this one. Even more evidence. Family relationships are hard. A Wisconsin father admitted to shooting his son while the two were fighting over the son's demand for $250.
The suspect came out of the house, turned himself in, and immediately began talking to our officers and our detectives. It was a parent-child relationship between the two.
Police say 64-year-old John Shively and his 25-year-old son Zachary were fighting over money. A criminal complaint revealed the extent of the finances, $2.50.
Oh.
The two men were fighting over. Zachary had reportedly demanded his dad give him $2.50. But the older man said he only had $2 and what amounted to a little over 30 cents in change. He told police his son kept hammering that he needed 25 cents more. John Shively reportedly said the fight was about more than just the amount of money. He said it was also about several bad decisions. It eventually escalated to a physical confrontation, with Zachary allegedly hitting his dad in the upper arm and then pushing him into the corner where he landed on a chair and bumped his head.
Oh.
John reportedly grabbed his son's gun, which apparently the son had used in some sort of drive-by, and then fired. The firing apparently occurred after the family had gone to a gathering earlier in the day, but came home after they started arguing about money.
Whew.
Yikes.
You think you and your folks don't get along for jack squat? That's a hell of a deal right there.
If it means anything, the dad was remorseful.
Who did a drive-by on who?
Well, some sort of driving while shooting incident. The son.
Yeah.
Allegedly with this gun.
Yeah.
And maybe that's part of why dad was upset.
Maybe that's part of one of those bad decisions that were referenced.
You could probably put that on that side if you're making a pro and con list.
Oh, I want $2.50. Well, I got $2.30.
I need the other 25 cents.
You son of a bitch.
Volume 3 of Untold debuts today on Netflix. The newest season of the streamer's critically acclaimed docuseries sets its insightful gaze on 4 different stories this time around. Today's episode, called Untold Jake Paul, the Problem Child, tells the story of YouTube personality Jake Paul's controversial pivot to boxing over the past 5 years. Future editions of Volume 3 will premiere with different stories throughout August. 42 years ago on this day in television history, 1981, MTV was launched in an estimated 2 million homes at 12:01 a.m. Then 27 years ago in 1996, MTV launched MTV2. Who did that?
Right, Cubby?
Right, MTV2?
MTV2.
Well, the thing about them is they were playing music videos at
that's
least.
where the videos all went.
Well, yeah, but it's just a shame that... It's a shame
what happened to MTV?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. I loved MTV for the longest time. My uncle used to tape it for me, and he'd bring over the VHS tapes. I'd watch it, especially Headbangers Ball, stuff like that.
I just watched Headbangers Ball last night, Josh.
Did you now? What episode?
Oh, it was some YouTube channel just plays old videos from the late 80s. You know who I saw? It was just some random person at home edited, their VHS tapes and put it on you. I saw Exodus on Headbangers Ball, and I saw Halloween.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Did you, on purpose, were you searching that out, or
No.
it just kind of popped up?
They just came up.
Nice.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Sad note on this day in history. Shortly after 6 p.m., August 1st, 2007, the Interstate 35W bridge over the Mississippi near downtown Minneapolis, loaded with rush hour traffic, creeping through an ongoing construction project, fell. Without warning, the bridge collapsed, took with it 111 vehicles, 13 people died, 145 injured. The National Transportation Safety Board ultimately determined the probable cause of the collapse of the 35W bridge was the, quote, inadequate load capacity due to a design error of the gusset plates.
That was absolutely tragic.
Just awful.
How many years ago was that now?
Well, it was 2007.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Oh.
I'll be damned.
Jason Momoa, DC's Aquaman, and Khal Drogo in the Game of Thrones is 44. Def Leppard singer Joe Elliott, 64.
Oh.
Welcome home to Meat Cutter Jesus, back in town after 4 years away. Happy birthday to Reed, a.k.a. Four-Wheelin' Fish-Reelin' Jesus, turning the big 05 today from Dad Runs in the Dark Jesus, and that's 93X News.
Minnesota Twins interview on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Up the first base line. Can he beat this one out? The snap is high. And Birdie's got himself an infield single, I would think.
So he flipped the ball between his legs, but he elevated it over Torkelson's head.
Listen, you have to execute on third down.
Yeah, you do.
Otherwise, you're going to punt, and then your special teams comes out and does stuff like that. It's just a mess.
All right, then. Hello, Randy Shaver.
Hello.
How you doing today?
Good.
When are you going back to work? God, help us.
I don't think I'll be on TV until maybe Thursday.
Oh, it's this week, though.
It is this week.
That's a bummer.
I actually did a Joe Mauer Twins Hall of Fame story that's running Thursday night. So.
Oh, well, let's get into that. We're going to talk a little bit about Joe Mauer's big day on Saturday, and we shouldn't keep our guests waiting. It's Dick Bremer calling in from St. Louis, Missouri. Hello, Dick.
Good morning, everybody.
Man, you looking at more 100-degree ball games this week?
Nah, it's really moderate here in St. Louis. We're looking, I think, low, mid-80s for this series. And the weather's supposed to be beautiful back home, too, for a short homestand that'll be highlighted by the Mauer Hall of Fame induction on Saturday.
Yeah. We won't get a chance to talk to you again before Saturday. And Randy Shaver, I'd like to hear all about what you were doing with Mr. Mauer. But Saturday, Joe Mauer will become the 38th member of the Twins Hall of Fame.
Those things are an awful lot of fun for me. I've been privileged to MC those things over the years, and I'm really delighted that a nice cross-section of Twins Hall of Famers from Twins history are all going to be there. Tony Oliva, Jim Cott, Jim Perry is coming back for the first time in a few years. And then you've got Johan Santana, Justin Morneau, people like that. So it really is a fun night for me, I know, and I think for the fans, too.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I love seeing all the old ball players gathered round, and I love the way you MC those special occasions, Dick Bremer. I think you do a wonderful job.
Well, again, it's just so much fun to hopefully in front of a packed house or close to a packed house just to introduce Tony Oliva and Rod Carew and guys like that, because I think for those of us who've been Twins fans a long time or followed the team for a long time, it's kind of makes us all feel young again to see those guys.
Absolutely. So, Randy Shaver, what have you been up to? You got a special interview with Joe that's going to air in a couple of days?
Yeah, I interviewed Joe probably 2 months ago in preparation for his Hall of Fame on the ballot in January. So, I mean, his numbers aren't going to change between now and January.
No, that's impossible.
So I just told Joe, let's do something early in the summer. Then I'm not chasing you around in the fall and having to do that. So I interviewed him. I've interviewed Justin Morneau. I've interviewed the other 3 St. Paul guys who are already in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of the context of all those interviews will be a story that's running on Thursday night at 10 o'clock.
When will that be decided? When is the next Hall of Fame?
January.
January.
He's on the ballot in January.
Oh, okay. He's on the ballot. Okay, fair enough.
And I guess the big question, Dick Bremer, is whose speech will go longer, Justin's or Joe's?
Well, I was kidding Justin about it the other day. I said, let's make sure that your presentation, he's going to be presenting Joe as a Hall of Famer, that your presentation is shorter than the speech itself, which I think there's some dispute. I kid Justin, I think it was an hour and 12 minutes. He said it was only 28 minutes. So he was shooting for 33, which was his uniform number. And I think similarly, Joe's speech is more likely to be around 7 minutes long.
I will say this, Justin has a good sense of humor about it, because when we started talking about Joe, he goes, trust me, I got every minute's worth out of my speech. He goes, I don't think Joe's going to do that.
So if you're heading out to the game Saturday, get there early because the plaque unveiling is scheduled for around 4:15. Do you speak before the plaque unveiling, Dick? You'll be part of the unveiling?
I don't believe so. I've done that in the past, and that, too, is a lot of fun because the other Hall of Famers, the players already in the Twins Hall of Fame, generally attend that. I don't think this year I'm going to be a part of that. I'm going to be a part of the Twins Hall of Fame. I'm going to MC the luncheon for the Twins Hall of Fame golf tournament at Rush Creek on Friday. And that'll be a lot of fun. Can you tell I'm looking forward to the weekend? It's all going to be fun. Yeah. And again, just to see these guys, and if you were around to remember how good the Twins teams were in the late 60s, early 70s, and Jim Perry, a big part of that, and it's just going to be great to see these guys and walk, have them walk out on the field at Target Field, and we've been blessed, I think, in our region to have some really, really significant ball players play for the Twins, and a lot of them are going to be there this weekend.
Don't blame you for the excitement. Don't blame you at all. Oh, the golf tournament beforehand, Randy Shaver. Rush Creek, that's your joint, isn't it?
That's my stomping grounds, yeah.
Your retirement home is right down the road from Rush Creek, if I remember.
Yes, let's invite all the boys over after. Oh, wait a minute. I'm working that night. So
what a disaster, Randy going back to work. Well, that ought to be great. That ought to be great. I'm trying to gather up some buddies to head down Saturday night, Dick Bremer, so I'll try to get there early for you so I can see all the festivities. I love seeing all the old players like
hopefully it's just a precursor of what's to come, right?
What do you mean exactly?
Well,
the actual Hall of Fame. Yes.
Hopefully it's just a warm-up.
Yeah. I'm very much looking forward to what Joe has to say. So first things first, now tonight, Twins and Cardinals, first to 3, 6:45 on Bally Sports North. Cardinals not having the greatest season. Twins not exactly coming off the greatest series in the history of that franchise with what went down in Kansas City, Dick Bremer.
No, things didn't work out well on the western side of Missouri against a last-place ball club, so we'll try it on the eastern side here, too, because the Cardinals are in last place in their division. We got the trade deadline coming up at 5 o'clock Central today. So, yeah, I'm eager to see the Twins play better baseball here in St. Louis, but also eager to see what the roster looks like when we get to the ballpark.
Right. Do you think they'll make any changes?
I'm hearing some weird stories, boys.
Yeah, and you always do. I mean, that's the nature of a deadline. People offering opinions and things like that, but you really don't know. Sure, hey, it'd be nice to have Paul Goldschmidt in the Twins lineup tonight rather than the Cardinal lineup, but at what price? Josh Hader, boy, that'd be great to have him pitch in the out of the Twins bullpen for the rest of this season. But do you want to give up Royce Lewis to get him?
Right.
It's a cautionary tale. Everybody wants the players that they get, but at what cost? And to me, one of the best examples of that, it goes back to the 1987 season, and the Tigers were looking for some pitching help, and so they got a veteran by the name of Doyle Alexander, who really helped the Tigers get into the playoffs against the Twins. The Twins handled them pretty well, but all it took for the Tigers was to get give up a Class A pitching prospect to get Doyle Alexander, and he went like 9-0 for the Tigers, and it looked so great for the Tigers. but the Class A pitching prospect was John Smoltz.
That's right. That's how it works, right? I mean,
yep.
Yeah, but you don't know at the time, right? I mean,
Well,
you
no.
feel like that's a good deal. Obviously, the Tigers had so much hope that they would go to the World Series in '87. I don't know. I think Twins fans are torn today because I think they really feel like something should shake here with this roster. Either build the bullpen depth a little bit, get a couple of more arms, or find some offense somewhere that could give this team a jump start. It's a tough choice, right? It's a tough choice.
I think so, and then you look at what Cleveland did in advance of the trade deadline. They traded their starting shortstop, Rosario, and yesterday traded Savali, who's been their healthiest and best pitcher. And I think the moves that will be made, if any are made, will be done with the idea, look, let's try to build out our roster so that, assuming we win our division, that the Twins will, be a more potent opponent and built a little bit more for success come October. But, you got to win the division first.
Right.
And we've been speculating all year long, well, who wants to win it? And based on the moves that Cleveland has made, which seem to be more directed toward 2024 and beyond, by default, the Twins may end up winning the Central.
So that's what makes some of these rumors sound so strange to me, Dick Bremer and Randy, is that I've been hearing that maybe they're shopping Sonny Gray and Kente Maeda.
Yeah.
The strength of this team has been their starting pitching, but it's almost like they're pretending to be sellers. They're just rumors, but that sounds really strange to me.
It is strange, and it's done, I think, with both eyes wide open. If somebody were to come to the Twins with a really good offer for Sonny Gray, well, sure, the Twins can listen. It doesn't mean they're going to pull the trigger on it.
Right.
But it's, hey, the Twins, at the prime of his career, the Twins sent Kirby Puckett through waivers every year, quietly, but they did in the event, so he could be traded in the event somebody wanted to, give him, a boatload of really good players in return. That doesn't mean anything's going to happen, but we'll be again very curious to see what this roster looks like at 5:00 today.
Yeah, that'll be the deal. The Savale thing in Cleveland threw me also. That's like you mentioned, that's their best pitcher. I didn't pick up on this, but they traded for Noah Syndergaard?
Yeah, that's what the return was for Rosario.
Oh, right.
And Syndergaard actually pitched pretty well last night before he got hit by a line drive. But, most teams this time of year, if you're contending, most teams deal from an area of strength. Well, the Cleveland starting rotation's been banged up by so many injuries. Starting pitching was hardly their strength, but they, with an eye toward 2024 and beyond, they got a prospect who they hope will be their first baseman for a lot of years.
Oh, man, 5:00 today, like you said. Were there any other big league trades that grabbed either one of you yesterday?
Not really. I thought it was kind of minor deals throughout the trade so far. Maybe Candelario a little bit going to the Cubs. Maybe Sewald to the Diamondbacks. But, gosh, other than that, I think it's been pretty quiet.
One of the areas of concern for the Twins is their inability to do much against left-handed pitching. So there were a couple of guys with the Rockies that I thought the Twins might have had interest in, and probably did, but the asking price was deemed too high. Randall Grichuk and C.J. Cron, former Twin, both really good, right-handed batters against lefties, and they were dealt to the Angels instead. So that one kind of caught my eye because I thought particularly Grichuk, who mashes left-handed pitching, might have been a good fit for the Twins.
Right on. Well, we talked yesterday, I think it was, Randy Shaver, about Max Scherzer being dealt from the Mets to Texas. Now, the next deal might be Justin Verlander. Here's the latest rumor on that. The Baltimore Orioles have emerged as the team to watch in Verlander trade talks.
Sure. Makes sense.
And I can see that because Verlander would be the veteran that teams like to have going, if you've got a fairly young, inexperienced team like Baltimore going into the playoffs. It'd be nice to have that lead dog like Verlander, like, Jack Morris was for the Twins, Bert Blyleven was in '87. So I can see that happening. Orioles have a really good farm system. So we'll see. But, just think of what we're talking about here. The Mets with an astronomically high payroll, and they're sellers instead of buyers at the trade deadline. It's just astounding.
Mm-hmm. Verlander, Scherzer, these guys just seem like they could pitch forever. And, we say a lot on this program, when's that Justin Verlander guy going to catch a break in life, for God's sake? You know what I mean?
Really.
Give this guy a little bit of happiness, for God's sake.
Yeah. Just seems to be sad all the time.
Yeah.
At home, at the ballpark. Just a sad-looking guy.
Can you imagine those bus rides home? He's just staring out the window.
Oh, my God.
Oh, I don't want to walk in that door, he's saying.
Just give me 1 minute of his life.
There's a funny thing that happened in Chicago, and this is going to sound like I made it up, but I've got corroborating witnesses. I'm in the media dining room in Chicago about 6-7 years ago, and I'm with Twins personnel.
Yeah.
Media relations director, travel director, we're all sitting there having dinner, and a guy comes up to me and says, "Congratulations, Mr. Verlander, you had a great career." I kid you not. A guy thought I, at age whatever I was at the time, was Justin Verlander.
What the hell?
Oh, my God.
I know. I mean, there's, maybe when I was 39, I might have looked a little bit like Justin Verlander. But that actually happened. And we were all, when the guy left the table, we were, doubled over in laughter. How can anybody mistake me for Justin Verlander? And it's just my luck that it's not Kate Upton, right?
God dang. I mean, not that, Dick Bremer, when we met a week or so ago, one of the things that struck me, having never met you before, was that you're a big damn dude. So that part of it, I can see why you might be mistaken for an athlete.
You having never seen me play in high school, maybe, but and by big you mean 6'2", right?
Yes, of course I did. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're a tall, athletic-looking son of a.
Yeah.
Ah, man. Congratulations, Mr. Verlander, he says.
Yes.
I think I would have fallen off my chair, but Josh gets that a lot with. Who's the celebrity you get mistaken for?
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
I can see it, yeah.
I tell you something, I get a lot, too. I get a lot of Boz Skaggs.
Boz Skaggs?
He's going to be in town next week.
Oh, yeah, he's coming to town. When's he coming to town, Randy?
He's coming to town Wednesday the 9th.
Is that Eagles concert? No. Boz Skaggs?
That's November.
Were you going to the Boz Skaggs show, Randy?
I think I am.
What?
Like at the State Theater.
Dick, don't you like the new Randy? He's loosened up. He's going out to concerts. He's taking time off. You know what I mean?
Yes. But I'm guessing he did that when he was the old Randy, too, didn't he?
Well, sure. I saw him dancing like a fool at a Kiss concert one year. Man, you should have seen that, Dick Bremer.
Oh, my God.
I think I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Oh, yes. He was at a Kiss concert with his eldest son, and you were dancing your ass off. I was pointing you out to everybody in the crowd. That's Randy Shaver. Look at him. You were swiveling your hips. It was the time of your life.
I was like Elaine on Seinfeld.
Yeah.
That's quite the dance.
Oh, man. Dick Bremer, what else is going? Have you noticed at the ballpark, I know you're busy, but have you noticed that scoreboard taunts have become a thing?
No. What is that?
Scoreboard taunts. Now, was it a week ago? Ellie De La Cruz of the Cincinnati Reds, they're playing in Milwaukee, and De La Cruz hits a warning track fly ball. A member of the Brewers outfield made a great catch against the fence, nearly a home run. So the next time De La Cruz comes up to the plate, the scoreboard crew at the Brewers ballpark taunted him with a little message. So, there's his picture and his stats and everything. And the message said, in his last at-bat, he almost hit a home run, taunting him. And then he
really?
Yes. And then he launches a 465-foot bomb, okay? I think it's becoming a trend now because where was this now? Okay, the Marlins were playing at home against the Detroit Tigers over the weekend. Miami Marlins playing at home against the Detroit Tigers. And during a couple of at-bats, the Marlins scoreboard crew put up a smart mouth message. When Matt Vierling of the Tigers came up to the plate in the top of the third, on the player note section of the scoreboard, they noted that Detroit has lost 65% of its population since 1950.
This is up on 93x.com, too.
Yeah.
We wouldn't do that in Minnesota, would we?
I don't think so.
We're
I
too
think
kind
we're
for
too
that.
polite.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I wonder how a manager or a general man or an owner would feel about the scoreboard crew firing up the opposition with some kind of. So later on in the game, another Tigers player came to bat, and the player note section said on the Jumbotron, only 2 actual tigers live at the Detroit Zoo. So they're taking these cheap shots at.
Well, it's kind of a shame in a way that that wasn't the trend back when A.J. Pierzynski was playing for the White Sox. We'd have had a lot of fun with that.
Oh, gosh, no kidding.
When he came back to town, oh, man. And I bet he was the type of guy that would let it affect his game negatively. Sometimes I bet he would use it as motivation. But absolutely. Look for it maybe. Where the hell are you? St. Louis. Look for it maybe tonight.
St. Louis. It's a good question. Where am I? I'm in St. Louis.
Maybe they'll make
It's
some
tough
kind
to
of.
keep up after a while.
I don't know. What kind of cheap shots could they throw? Well, I suppose they could talk about.
Well, now we talked about it on the air.
Series,
we talked about it on the air in Kansas City. Roy Smalley, I don't know what he's doing right now, but he claimed he's going to be parading his 1987 World Series ring all through St. Louis while he's here. So.
That sounds like fun. Yeah. That sounds like fun. Of course, the 1987 World Series. How the hell could we ever forget? I mean, of course, everyone knows all the marquee names, but when I think back to 1987, I think of guys like Dan Schatzeder and Les Straker, and on the other side of the diamond, Bob Forsch and Willie McGee and guys like. Boy, Bob Forsch, for Dick and Randy, I'm sure remember. You want to talk about an athlete that didn't look like an athlete. If you remember what he looked like, he was very skinny and tall, kind of looked like a junior high principal or something like that.
And then there was Willie McGee for the Cardinals, too, and he didn't look like, what Howard Cosell called him, E.T. He looked like E.T.
Yes, he was very gangly, and he kind of slapped at the ball.
Arms and legs.
Yes, a lot of slapping the ball the other way and running like hell.
He was the ultimate slap hitter.
Yeah.
No question.
Jose Oquendo comes to mind when I think back to the 87 Cardinals.
And the one that comes to mind for me is Joe McGrain. Or no, not Joe McGrain, Tom Lawless.
Tom Lawless. Oh,
the guy who still has, to this day, the greatest bat flip in Major League history.
That he was doing disrespectful, if that's where you go with bat flips. Some people don't call them disrespectful, but he was maybe the OG of disrespectful home run bat flips. Yes, when he hit a grand slam, and was it Game 3, Dick Bremer?
Against Frank Viola, and so now some of us still think when we see somebody do something like that, hey, act like you've done it before, but I'll give Tom Lawless a pass because he hadn't done that before.
Nope.
I think it was the only home run he hit all year long.
Yep. And he bat flipped in a smart ass way, as if to say, that was nothing but a thing. You know what I mean? And I was one furious 16-year-old on the couch, Dick Bremer, when that hack Tom Lawless bat flipped Frank Viola. I was upset at that.
I was interested to talk with Roy, who was on the 87 Twins, of course, and he has not been to St. Louis since then. And, of course, the Twins lost all 3 games in St. Louis. I said, well, you'll be some bad memories will be brought back. And he goes, no, they were great memories because ultimately the Twins won the World Series. And even in defeat. These guys are playing World Series games down here in St. Louis, and it's a different ballpark and all that. But we'll be flashing back here during our telecasts about what a great time that was. And I remember about a month after the World Series, waking up, and I was like, holy crap, we won the World Series. It took that long after everything that was going on during October of that year before I think it sunk in for a lot of us. This team that was terrible, laughing stock in baseball in 1982, and 5 years later they won it all.
It's amazing.
It was a beautiful thing, Dick Bremer. No question about that. Well, hey, have fun tonight and throughout the St. Louis series, and then we'll look forward to seeing you Saturday night during Joe Mauer's Hall of Fame induction at Target Field. I hope to be at the game live and watching it in person. So, as always, Dick Bremer, thanks very much.
Yeah, I checked the weather. It's supposed to be great all weekend long. So let's hope the Twins have a good series here in St. Louis and then come home and have a good series at home.
Absolutely fantastic. Thanks, Dick.
Yeah.
You betcha. Dick and the crew, 6:45 tonight on Bally Sports North against the Cardinals. All right, now I got to tell that great Dan Gladden story that I heard if we're talking about Twins and Cardinals from '87. And I've never gotten official confirmation from the man himself. This is a story that was told to me by a dude who worked for the Twins for many, many years. He said when Target Field opened, some of you might remember the very first game played at Target Field was Twins-Cardinals. Exhibition game, if I remember.
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, of course it was an exhibition game because it was one game. Exhibition game, the Cardinals came here to play the Twins. Very first game at Target Field. And the story I was told is that after the game was over, folks were drinking at Liquor Lyle's, back when Liquor Lyle's was still open. And there was a Cardinals fan there that was inebriated and wanted to start trouble. And this Cardinals fan was at the bar at Liquor Lyle's saying that Minnesota isn't a baseball state and Minneapolis, St. Paul, not even baseball cities. You guys don't care about baseball. You don't even know anything about baseball. That 1987 World Series was a friggin' joke, the guy says. And people are giving him a break because he's drunk. Yeah, whatever, tough guy. They're just jaw-jacking back and forth. But this guy wouldn't let it go. And he kept saying, what's the word in sports? A fluke. It was such a fluke that the Twins beat the Cardinals in '87. Okay. So finally, this is after the Twins and Cardinals game at Target Field. Finally, the guy says, as a matter of fact, to prove that none of you know anything about baseball, I got $100 right now if any of you can name the starting lineup for the Twins in Game 1 of the '87 World Series. Anybody in the bar, I'll give you $100 if you can name the starting lineup for the Twins, Game 1 of the '87 World Series. And the story I was told was that Dan Gladden stood up at the bar and said, I'll take that bet. I like to believe it really happened, but it was just
that's
a great story.
Same here, 'cause that's cool. Gives me the chills.
The guy worked for the Twins, So there you go. Finally, Randy Shaver, something you and I could talk about all damn day if we had the time.
What's that?
Golf Digest went ahead with a
Okay.
What I want to talk to you about. Well, I want to talk about Golf Digest went ahead.
I am shocked that you and Wapple are not rehashing Gable Steveson.
We're going to get there.
Oh, you are.
We're going to get there. I thought I'd be a nice guy.
I was reading a little bit about Gable Steveson this morning.
Oh, I have plenty to say about this.
I'm sure you do. Okay.
But I wanted to be Josh and I wanted to treat you to a golf topic.
Okay.
Because you like...
Well, that's just sweet of you.
Golf Digest, I'm a sweet person, went ahead with a list of the top 100 public golf courses, and 3 of them are on the list. 3 of them that are on the list are right here in Minnesota.
Okay.
You waste your time playing golf now and again. Do you want to guess which of these joints made the list?
The top 100 public golf
courses. Yes, okay. That is accurate.
I would say, I'm biased to Rush Creek, so I would say Rush Creek. But it's probably not on the list.
No.
The classic in Brainerd.
The Classic in Brainerd. I should have made this.
That's in there.
Yes. Are you talking about the Classic at Madden's Resort on Gull Lake?
Correct.
Yes, that's
Yes,
on
sir.
there.
I play that every summer.
I love Madden's. It's so nice.
We used to go up there all the time when we were young people. Yes. All right, F it, I'll just tell you.
Yeah, you tell me the other two.
The Quarry at Giants Ridge.
Yeah, I was going to say Lutzen, but you're
near Biwabik.
Yep.
I used to go there all the time
I bet that's just in the fall. I bet that's absolutely gorgeous.
We never bothered golfing up there in that neighborhood. Sometimes we'd go downhill skiing. Sometimes we'd go into Eveleth or Gilbert. I can't remember which one. Which town had Tuna's Gentlemen's Club? Does anyone?
I'm sure people are going to text.
Doesn't sound appealing.
You guys ever been to Tuna's?
I think I'd avoid that one too.
We had a hell of a good time at Tuna's.
I'm sure it's a nice place. I'm just saying, if I was only given the name, I might avoid it.
It looks like it's in Eveleth.
Right, I'll go with it. The other public course that made the top 100 in the entire United States of America, a joint called the Wilderness at Fortune Bay. Is that's
absolutely gorgeous.
Didn't you just play there not too long ago, Waffle?
Yeah, I play up there once in a while. My girlfriend's family has a cabin on Vermilion, so we go up there.
Oh, is that the cool one with the wolf print?
Yes.
That's in Tower, right? In Tower?
Yep.
Oh, a buddy of mine used to pull all the single mom action up there in Tower. We used to go up to all those neighborhoods a lot.
Yeah, that course is absolutely gorgeous. Right on Vermilion, too, one of the holes. Beautiful.
All right, you want to talk about Gable Steveson? He had
I want to hear you guys talk about
it. We would love to. Now, I suck lately at watching television wrestling. I just cannot find the time to watch either WWE or AEW, and it pisses me off. I caught a little bit of Raw last night. I'm upset at myself because I can never find the time, so I'm not following it the way I, for so many years, loved to follow it. Gable Steveson made his WWE television debut Sunday night at an event called the Great American Bash.
NXT Great American Bash.
Strictly NXT performers?
Yep.
And the word is there's plenty of articles being written about how it did not go well.
Right there, Baron Corbin just lured Gable Steveson outside so we could use a little piece of furniture right here. There you go, son. That's called a shucky, ducky, quack, quack moment.
Corbin and Steveson taking it 2-1. We're going to need more than just a...
I love it, by the way, when Booker T talks about his shucky, ducky, quack, quack moment.
That was so cute.
Booker T is one of the coolest people on planet Earth.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, the longer clip of that's very funny. He's hilarious. But yeah, you hear him chanting, "You're not Angle" in the back.
You're not Angle, yeah.
So the whole story is, and I understand why there's some concern if you don't understand or follow television wrestling. Despite being cast as a face, the crowd was cheering for the heel, Baron Corbin. And
that's not a good sign.
But Wapple, you know this as well as anybody. For a beginner, that's totally normal.
Yeah.
There's nothing, you got to earn it, man.
Yeah, I know, but it's just, I feel like he has. Just winning the gold medals and stuff like that. But once Kurt Angle first came over from Olympic wrestling, everyone hated him too.
That's what I'm saying. Wrestling fans are tough to impress. I'll make my statement on it, Wapple. You can give a rebuttal if you like. You don't get by on a name. A lot of wrestling fans don't give a rat's ass about college wrestling. They're not impressed until the performer can absorb and execute what we see in today's television wrestling. It didn't help Steveson that somebody hyped him up as the successor to Kurt Angle. Mm-hmm. I'll agree with that. That's not fair. That's a mistake for whoever decided to compare him to Angle. Kurt Angle's one of the greatest athletes to ever live, and I'm not kidding. So, fans mocked him, like Josh said. They were chanting, "You're not Angle." It's going to take some time.
Yep.
You need to show that you can do what they do in the squared circle, not what you did in college wrestling. And if he can achieve that, that's what put Angle over. Well, Also, Angle was so funny and so great on the mic, and
That's what I was just
was so
gonna say.
great at being a heel.
Yeah, Angle was so good once he first started, like right on the microphone. He just picked it up and knew what to do.
But what got Angle over was when he proved he can do more than just grapple and holds, that he could do moonsaults, and he could. That's television wrestling fans. That's what they want to see, those moves, not Greco-Roman stuff. So it's going to take some time, and I think he'll get there. He'll be fine. It's a long road before fans of television wrestling, what's the word I'm looking for? Accept you. I mean, look at The Rock. The Rock was a clown. He was a clown.
He just needs someone to kind of mentor him and kind of show him the rope, show him what to do. Put him in a tag team with like an old veteran.
Yeah,
or
right.
Something like that, like Seth Rollins.
The Miz was terrible.
Oh, he was so bad.
The Miz was almost unforgivably bad.
Yeah.
And you put him in the ring, you put Stevenson in the ring with Corbin. WWE fans are wildly loyal to Corbin. The only thing would have made it worse is if you put him in there with Sheamus.
Yeah.
Because guys like Sheamus and Corbin will always be appreciated by wrestling fans because they've been good workers for long periods of time. They'll play any role.
And that's kind of
do it well.
And that's what Baron Corbin's kind of doing. Why he went down to NXT is because he's trying to teach these younger guys the ropes.
He's perfect for it. Randy, go ahead. Your take now that we've spent ourselves on.
I think I agree with everything you just said.
Okay. He'll be fine.
It just sounds like he was boring in the ring. That's what it sounded
Yeah, he did Kurt Angle's ankle lock, tried to do that. That's when people started chanting, "You're not Angle." And then he did one of his backflips that he does to get out of the way of a clothesline, or I can't remember what move. But he did a backflip, and fans didn't like that either because he used to do that in college wrestling.
It's going to be a hell of a process.
Tough crowd.
Tough crowd. That's what they say, don't they, Randy? It's a tough crowd out there. Remember when Kurt Angle blamed the crowd for losing his championship? That's one of my favorite moments he ever had on the mic. Kurt, what happened out there? You know, I don't exactly want to blame the crowd, but they didn't. The Man Bear Pigs have signed old Phil up to play goaltender for their hockey club for a few more years. They gave him a 3-year contract. Philip Gustafson is the kid's name.
Good deal. He earned it.
He played damn well in there between the pipes, as they say. He's going to make a lot of money. 11 some odd $11 million for the whole deal,
This is
Randy.
a team that's salary cap strapped. So this is they're finding ways to lock up the guys they need to lock up. So
I have no doubt that Phil will continue to play well, unless, of course, that animal Ryan Suter gets a hold of him.
Dirty player.
How is that guy still playing in the league? It's just ridiculous. Thanks a lot, Gary Bettman. But old Phil can play. It's pretty rare that I want to willingly feature anything that Karen Rogers has to say on this program, but I know some of you get a kick out of it, so I'm going to go ahead anyway. The gas bag was talking to somebody from the NFL Network when he wasn't busy practicing or being overwhelmed by the squirrels that have constant knife fights in his head. But he said, and I can't get involved in this argument, you guys have to go for me. He said he thinks that Back to the Future Part 3 is better than Back to the Future Part 2.
Done a lot of incredible things. You know, a hockey game at MSG, a couple Knicks games, Taylor Swift concert, Ed Sheeran concert. We've been to Wicked and now Back to the Future.
How is the Back to the Future? Because that's
It is
new.
a must-watch.
Yeah?
If you're a fan,
oh come on,
and I'm a fan.
I go DeLorean. We can go deep.
I'm a 1-3-2 though is my order. I'm a big fan of 3. A lot of people aren't. I love 3.
The Western.
It's the second best. 1-3-2. That's for me.
Yeah, see, I only went as far as the first one, so you guys can go ahead if you have a Back to the Future 2 or 3 argument.
I only watched the first 2.
Yeah.
Well, I
Josh?
can tell you this: there's not a lot of people that would say that. Maybe it's the peyote talking, but
I have always heard that the third one is the worst.
that's what I think. I mean, I love the whole series, right? And I love westerns. The third was good, but I don't know. The first 2 were awesome.
Oh, the third was the Western themed one? Oh, okay. Yeah, I was told that I didn't need to watch that.
I would agree you probably don't, unless you just want to watch something new in the Back to the Future world there, but
I was looking for my pen there so I could write down promo on a piece of paper. Maybe it was the peyote talking. That's good.
Ayahuasca, that's what it is, ayahuasca.
Oh, what is this? Ex-NFL running back Le'Veon Bell is up there on the OnlyFans website?
This is one of those internet moments where I say, shut up and take my money.
Oh. Oh, wait a minute. He's not getting naked or anything.
Nah. You know, a lot of OnlyFans, there's plenty of them that don't.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, some celebrities that are on there.
I haven't been on there. Randy could have told us that, I suppose. OnlyFans?
No idea what you're talking about.
I haven't been there yet because I'm stupid. I don't have time for... How miserable is my life? I no longer have time to watch the greatest sport in the world, television wrestling, and I've never been on OnlyFans.
Yeah, something's not right.
I didn't have this problem a while back, Josh. What am I doing wrong?
I'm a little surprised.
Well, I do spend a lot of time at the gym. Okay. Le'Veon Bell's on OnlyFans to get intimate with his fans, but he's not getting the D out or anything. He's vlogging. Okay, someone make sense of this for me. He's using OnlyFans as more of his own personal vlog and streaming service for video games, primarily Super Smash Brothers. So what does that mean? People are watching him play video games?
Yeah, people are paying to watch him play video games.
Oh, my God.
I mean, can you, like a Twitch stream, where that'd be a little more common, can you charge for that, or is it you just make money on ads, or how does that work?
I think you'd have to be sponsored and make money on ads, so I think that's why he's doing it. Because I've always known it was free.
Who's the wrestler that does that with video games?
Xavier Woods.
Yeah, Xavier Woods. He's hilarious.
Yeah, he even has his own podcast. He even has his own YouTube channel, Up, Up, Down, Down.
Doesn't Carl Anthony Towns do something like that as well? With video games?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's on Twitch.
Yeah, I thought Twitch was where he was.
This Le'Veon Bell is also a rapper. What? For a few minutes, wasn't he also a terrible boxer?
I was going to say that. I thought he was boxing, too.
Didn't he have an awful, unwatchable fight
Peterson.
with Adrian Peterson?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He beat him.
He did?
Yeah, which is kind of a switch from what we've heard of Adrian Peterson. Well, he took on an adult. That's why Adrian lost.
Le'Veon Bell has a new single. It's called Make It Boom. Randy, have you heard that one yet?
I have not.
How many times have you listened to Make It Boom by Le'Veon Bell, Randy?
Zero.
Zero times.
I have not heard it. Maybe you should play it on the air.
Well, I have to preview it first.
Yeah.
Or we could get some time off, I guess, unpaid.
All right, we got to get going, Randy, but one more. Someone just said something about Carl Anthony Towns. You know, this international basketball tournament coming up called the FIBA World Cup? I'm going to try to watch this. We were telling you that Kyle Anderson's going to play for China. Carl's going to play for the Dominican Republic. His mother was Dominican. He's played internationally for the Dominican Republic for many years. I'm going to find this. Anthony Edwards is playing for the U.S. Rudy Gobert's playing for France. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is playing for the friggin' Canadians. Bud, or wait a minute, what do they call it?
Mate.
Buddy.
Mate.
Mate?
Yeah, do your Canadian accent. It's mate.
Oh, I hate that. When the Canadians come at you like that. Hey there, mate. Pisses me off. But on the South Park show, they're always calling her buddy and what?
Guy. Friend.
That's right, guy.
I'm not your guy, friend. I'm not your friend, buddy.
I'm not your buddy, guy. We're going to be talking weed here, Randy, so we'll let you go so you don't get in any trouble.
Okay, that sounds good.
We'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 7:30.
See ya.
Thank you very much, Randy. Coming up next, we'll talk to Dana. Dana took off to head to Uptown. He's hanging out at a brand new dispensary, High North Dispensary. And today's some kind of a big weed day, but we don't understand it. Hopefully Dana and the guy that runs the joint can explain things when we come back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
You're listening to the radio. The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
CJ Ham for Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. When I'm on the field, I can take anything. But at home with my family, we like everything to be comfortable. That's why I trust the pros at Standard. They've been keeping Minnesotans like me comfortable for over 90 years.
Is your cooling system making strange noises or not cooling properly? Don't wait for an AC breakdown this summer. Get a free in-home estimate with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Schedule your appointment today at standardheating.com.
Are you currently enjoying the show on the Stitcher app? Then you need to know Stitcher is going away on August 29th. Yep, going away, as in kaput, gone, dead. Rest in peace, Stitcher, and thanks for 15 years of service to the podcast community. So switch to another podcast app and follow this show there. Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
Half-assed Morning Show. 93X.
Welcome back to the show, Bydam. Today is, at some level that we don't understand, a big day for reefer addicts. Josh and I are so lost on this topic.
I thought we understood. Turns out we know nothing.
We mentioned earlier that, the two of us, Josh and I, we don't dial into such stories. Neither one of us are all that concerned one way or another about marijuana. But for me personally, every night on the news, there was some kind of hey, hang on to something. Here comes the marijuana this or the marijuana that, right? And we both assumed that on August 1st today, it was going to be the wild friggin' West.
Yeah, you could buy it, bring it, whatever. You could do whatever you wanted with it.
So yesterday, after our show was over, we walked into the lobby to hang out with the younger people, Ashley and Wapple and Dana. And we said, hey, tomorrow, are you excited? And they all said, not really.
For what?
We didn't. So here's the deal. Minnesota law has decided this or that concerning growing weed or something. I can't understand it, so we're going to find out what the hell is going on from a professional whose livelihood relies on knowledge of this subject. First, here's Dana, live from a joint called High North Dispensary in Uptown. What's up, bruh?
This place is gorgeous, you guys. I love this place.
Is it a beautiful thing?
Yeah, it is really beautiful. I think people, we were just talking about this a little bit ago with some of the employees here. I think people have an idea they think a dispensary is going to be like some hippie's basement, if a drug rug hanging on the wall and some Doors record playing or something. But this place is bright and beautifully decorated and gorgeous. It's awesome in here.
Oh, that's nice.
You're right. That's not what I would have expected. Now, is there a door, or is it just kind of a string of beads that you walk through on the way in? Lava lamps everywhere, that kind of thing.
No, it's beautiful. It's bright. It's big. It's really cool in here. I don't know what any of this stuff is I'm looking at, but it looks really cool.
What Floyd record are they playing in the background?
Grateful Dead.
I see that you posted a picture on Twitter, Dana, of the table and all the snacks. So you're located by the front door, I'm guessing?
Yeah, right by the front door. Got a pile of Pringles. I'm on my fifth edible and a pile of Rice Krispie treats. So we're hanging out here.
Have you had an edible, or are they? I'd imagine they've got that kind of stuff there, right?
Oh yeah, they've got everything you could want here. But no, I have not partaken. I'll leave that for Wapple.
So that's what confused us. Nick and I thought you could buy whatever you wanted today, in whatever amounts they sell in other parts of the country.
Right, yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, I thought the same thing. I thought, there'd just be joints everywhere and just like a Uncle Scrooge money bin full of weed. But no, apparently that's not quite the case yet.
So this joint, High North Dispensary in Uptown, where exactly are you? And they've opened. Have they opened the doors early for you?
They did, yeah. It's located right on Hennepin and 28th, right in Uptown.
Okay.
So there's a nice parking lot, too, so you don't have to worry. I know a lot of people, when they think about coming to Minneapolis, they stress about parking, but they got a nice big parking lot for everybody to come drop their car off when they come to get their necessities.
Is it right on the corner?
Yep, right on the corner.
Is it on that would be northwest corner?
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think if that's the case, that's the old Condom Kingdom.
Oh!
You might be right.
Yeah, I wonder if that's the same building. You guys remember Condom Kingdom?
Yes, I do.
No.
Oh, scandalous. I remember as a kid.
I'm old enough to remember Condom Kingdom. Wasn't it right next door to the Newt Capet?
Yeah, it was right. Yeah, Newt Capet was just down the road on 28th.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Minneapolis, so we used to spend a lot of time in Uptown. And we'd go to Kin Do across the street, awesome Vietnamese place, sadly closed now. But that, I wonder if that's the same building. Do we have Tyler on, the owner?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, Tyler Thompson he's the owner of High North Dispensary. He's also with us to clear up all the confusion because we are confused. Thanks for jumping on the line with us, Tyler.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, you sound like you're fresh out of high school.
Yeah, no kidding.
I get that a lot.
Yeah, you sound like a young buck. How old are you?
I just turned 30.
Jesus criminy.
And you have 3 stores
That's
already?
awesome.
We are failures.
We do, yeah. Yeah, we're excited about it.
That's really
But yeah, it's funny
impressive.
that you mentioned King Do. It's funny that you mentioned King Do because we're actually in the building that used to be King Do. So we're right next door to that old restaurant.
Oh, okay. So, yeah,
That's
then
great.
you're on the opposite side. Okay, yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Awesome. Well, that's great. I mean, is this your newest store or what order? Because you got Inver Grove, Cottage Grove, and then Uptown.
Yeah, Inver Grove has been around for a long time. So we opened that one in 2013. And at the time, it was just e-cigarettes. And we've since transitioned into cannabis and CBD as that kind of progressed when the 2018 Farm Bill passed and things like that. But then we opened Cottage Grove about 18 months ago, and Uptown is our newest location. We just opened it about maybe 6 months ago.
So you opened the first joint when you were 23 friggin' years old.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I was pretty young at the time.
What a bunch of losers we are.
Where was the first one?
Badass.
Where was the first one? I'm sorry.
The first one was in Inver Grove Heights.
See, yeah, Inver Grove Heights. Huh?
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yep, that was fun.
So, good for you. Congratulations, and thanks for allowing the Uptown joint to open the doors a little early for Dana. And again, he's going to be hanging out there if you want to swing by and get your goods. He's got some munchies he'll hand out to you.
We were happy to have him. I mean, he was passing out snacks, so we were hungry.
Well, yeah. Well, we thought that'd be appropriate, right, to bring some munchies and stuff down.
100%.
And you guys obviously were nice enough to host the event. But so kind of to follow up on what Nick was saying in the intro, and I apologize, Tyler, but we're very confused as to what has changed today versus tomorrow. And we were hoping you could kind of clear that up because we had thought it was a free-for-all starting today.
Right.
And that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, it's not the case, and a lot of people are confused about this, so I'm happy to be able to kind of shed some light on it. So basically what happens today, more or less, is you're allowed to start home growing, and the possession rules change, so it becomes to kind of decriminalize. So the possession rules, meaning you can have up to 2 ounces on your person in public, 800 milligrams of edibles in public, or 8 grams of concentrate, but you won't be allowed to actually purchase legally cannabis products, like recreational adult use cannabis products, until probably first quarter of 2025. And the reason for that is they have to set up the Cannabis Management Board, an apparatus that's going to regulate cannabis in Minnesota. And that's not going to happen probably for another 6 to 12 months. And from there, that's when stores like mine can start to apply for permitting for the actual recreational dispensary licensure. In the meantime, they probably will start licensing growers and other facets of the industry. So that they can get a jump start. But it's going to be quite a while until you can buy recreational cannabis here in Minnesota still.
What a process, man.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
So the edibles you sold yesterday, are they in higher concentration today, or is the loss still the same?
The concentration of edibles is still the same for right now. So, for example, last year, in July 1st of last year, they passed a law that basically made hemp-derived traditional THC legal in edible formats. So you could have edibles up to 5 milligrams per serving and 50 milligrams per package were available and legal to be sold on the open market in Minnesota. And so that's kind of what we're still piggybacking off of. Now, there are some fantastic products in that category, and just because it's hemp-derived doesn't mean it's less powerful. THC is THC. So depending on where if you're deriving it from hemp or you're deriving it from cannabis, the THC is the same. The only difference there is how much actual biomass or raw material do you need to yield an X amount of THC?
I'm following you completely. So to complicate things further, people are wondering, what is Delta then and the different numbers of Delta?
Yeah, so Delta is actually referring to the legs of hydrogen on the molecule. So when you're looking at Delta 9, which is traditional THC, like when you think of cannabis, when you think of weed, you're thinking of Delta 9 THC. The only reason that we're now kind of distinguishing between Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10 is because scientists and like technology has gotten to a point where we can isolate those particular THCs. And the kicker there was Delta 9 THC was the only federally controlled THC. So because they could isolate the Delta 8 to the Delta 10, that was no longer controlled federally, so it was legal in a fringe gray area market.
My God,
Yeah.
I have
How do
no
you keep
idea
up
what
with
you're
this?
saying. But don't get me wrong, you're being very clear and precise, and we appreciate that. I just don't know the language, and I have to find out about your beginnings. How did this How did this become a passion for you? What led you to take an interest? Was this a family endeavor? I have to know how you learn all of these specifics so well.
Well, I think it's just, time teaches. So I think, I started way back in the day with e-cigarettes, and we've kind of moved away from that now. And when CBD came on the market, we were kind of interested in how that could be part of our business at the time. And after kind of seeing all the technological advancements and all the benefits of CBD in general, we were really excited about that industry and kind of poured everything into that. And that naturally progresses from CBD into hemp-derived THC, into cannabis. So it was a natural progression for us, for my team and for myself. And, we're just really happy to be part of this kind of on the ground floor in Minnesota and being part of something special.
It must be pretty friggin' exciting. It must be exciting to be, all of a sudden, weed is out behind the curtain, so to speak. I mean, you must be thrilled.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. I think the people of Minnesota are thrilled. I think it's something that being able to, like you said, kind of pull the veil on this, really allows people to experiment and see how, more natural options can help them with whatever they're dealing with. Having alternatives to alcohol available in Minnesota, I think, is important. And I think people are starting to take notice of that. So we're just really excited to be part of something that's helping people and that people are excited about. And it's hard not to be a romantic about that.
Well, I can tell you, Tyler, I mean, I was telling these guys off the air yesterday, I got a couple buddies that almost have completely switched from alcohol to the THC seltzers. That's their thing now.
No doubt. I hear that all the time. That's a super common thing that we hear about at our stores and just from people that I chat with on the street, too.
And are you selling that stuff, too?
Yeah, we have a wide selection of seltzers, probably 60 or 70 different options in stock right now at our stores. And then we have all the different edibles. We have, our thing is, we custom formulate our edibles for particular kind of nuanced effects. So we have a lot of different varieties of edibles, probably 60 options.
Sure.
That's kind of what we're known for.
And Tyler, you guys make a lot of your edibles, don't you, too?
So we work, because the volume that we produce is so high, we don't really have a capability to do these in super small batches, but we do work with a local co-packer that we design all the recipes and the inputs, meaning the actual THC that's in there, and the recipe of like how much THC, how much CBD, what terpenes, things like that. And then we source that out to a really high caliber co-packer that shows us consistent results. And so that just provides consistency, but like low level customization as well.
You know what's hilarious about this is pot smokers are labeled as dumb.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. That's not fair. We're totally lost on this.
I would have to take years of college to be able to comprehend this.
You were talking about molecules and stuff.
It's fascinating.
Oh, you learn the lingo over time.
I don't know.
So, High North, if I show up at High North, and I've never used Tyler. Never once. So if I walked in there, can you say, I've never tried anything, what do I try? I mean, can you recommend something?
100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean,
and
I
would
would
you do it
say,
sarcastically, or would you really be looking out for it?
No, our goal, we don't make a living making people have bad experiences. So, when you walk in, if you tell us that, if you walk in and tell me that you try something and you're not sure and you want to take it easy, we have options that are super low dose. We have options that are kind of moderate. Our staff is specifically trained to be able to kind of walk you through that process, ask you the questions to make sure that the product that we're recommending to you is going to give you the best experience for what you're looking for.
What would you recommend?
And not everyone's the same.
What would you recommend for Josh, who's never had a joint stick in his yet?
Never done any drug whatsoever, ever.
For sure. Well, naturally, I would suggest probably either a low-dose gummy or probably a beverage would be a good choice as well.
What's a low dose? What does that mean to me?
A low-dose gummy would be a 5 milligram serving, and if you're someone who is not sure about what your tolerance level is, I would even say you could cut that in half if you wanted to and just, take it slow. we always recommend taking it slow from the get-go, just so you can kind of understand your particular tolerance. Everyone's is different. You know, I'm 6'1", probably 240, and my tolerance is pretty low, surprisingly.
Really?
So, but there are some people that we have that are, you know, young women that have an extremely high tolerance. So it's all about just kind of discovering what's right for you, and our staff can really help give you suggestions and help give you a nuanced experience to make sure you get what you need.
Can I drink one of those beverages with a straw?
Absolutely. I hear it tastes better that way anyway.
What about ordering online? Dyslexic Jesus wants to know, is that legal? Can we order from you guys?
You definitely can order online. Our online store is about to launch at the end of this month. So we've been working on it for quite some time, and we're excited to launch it in the end of August. But right now, you can call in and order. Otherwise, we suggest stopping in. It's going to give you the best experience overall.
Okay.
You're just buried in college girls, aren't you?
Not even close. I'm happily engaged.
Oh!
This is interesting. So this person texted in and said they talked to a cop buddy saying you can't buy weed, but you can buy a napkin drawing I just made for $50, and it would be legal for me to gift you a bag of weed with that napkin drawing.
Oh,
is that?
Yeah, I've seen that trick before.
I can't speak to that.
Okay. We don't want to get the guy in any trouble. Well, this has been absolutely what we were looking for, really.
I'm glad.
Yes, we have very little understanding, at least Josh and I have very little understanding of what's going on with the marijuana laws. And to have you dump all your knowledge on us is very helpful. Tyler Thompson, the boss man at High North Dispensary. Dana is still on the line. You're at the Uptown location. Anything
at the Uptown location,
what's
hanging
going
out,
on now? What's going? Anyone come in and grabbed some Pringles from you or anything?
No, I might just go out, stand on the street and start handing them out to people that walk by.
That's safe. I'm sure they'll take that.
You got to be 21 to walk in the joint, right, Tyler?
That's correct. 21 plus with a state issue ID.
Hey, man, thanks a lot for your help.
Yeah, and best of luck. It's exciting.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
Maybe we'll see you again sometime, Tyler. Thanks a lot.
Anytime you got questions, either stop in or give me a call.
Well, that'd be a good idea, yeah. Thanks, dude.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy your day.
You too. We may use his number again in the future.
Well, I'm definitely, next time I'm around someone having a gummy or something, and I'm going to say, it's the hydrogen molecules that are really, really getting you there.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Like I said, I could probably sit in a classroom and attempt to learn that stuff, and I would probably fail. Probably fail. I mean, I would likely fail. Jesus, that stuff is so detailed. Dana, while you're there, are you going to get a souvenir for anybody?
You guys want something?
Well, I don't.
I'm looking at a can of Keith Bubba Kush root beer that's got your name written all over it, Nick.
I'm not built for that. I'm not built for that kind of stuff.
I like root beer.
Yeah, I mean, there's others here.
Here, Josh, try this root beer.
Is there like a Darth Maul bong or something like that you could pick up for me?
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Maybe a Klingon.
No, it's all pretty classy stuff. It's none of the crazy bongs you might think about in like a movie or something.
Okay. What do you mean? Why isn't that classy? I was 100% serious.
Darth Maul, you said?
Something like that.
I'm not built for that kind of stuff, but if you want to grab something for Wapple or something, he'd probably appreciate it quite a bit.
They have this cool thing in the lobby. It's basically like a tent that you use to grow weed in. It looks very fancy and high tech. I think Wapple could use one of these.
Oh, really?
Are
you planning on growing any Wapple?
I would love to, but it would just make the whole house smell just like reek like weed.
Well, you don't do it out in the yard or something?
No, a lot of the times you want to do it inside just because we live in Minnesota, and once the frost comes, it'll destroy the plants.
Well, you do something about it before the frost. I watch Belinda Jensen. I know when to cover the plants and things like that. Well, yeah, see if you can grab something for Wapple. And Wapple, if you do grow your own weed, don't be a douche about it like the guys who brew their own beer.
Oh, well, I've got more hydrogen molecules in mine.
I mulched this with sandalwood.
But it's interesting, Dana, that you say, when you walked into the joint, it didn't look like what you expected.
Yeah, no, it's very welcoming and accepting, and you can tell that Tyler and the crew here, if you walk in, and they say they have this all the time, people walk in, they have no idea what to do, or they're saying it for the first time, and they're very helpful. And another thing Tyler told me, too, that was very funny, I want to mention, too, they have a lot of older adults that come in and say, "My kids can't know I'm doing this."
Oh, I bet. I bet I bet a lot of your folks are stoned off their ass right now as we speak. But you know what's a good example of a joint that you walk in and you didn't expect it? Remember when they remodeled Sex World?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's the nicest building in all of Minneapolis.
Yeah. There's plenty of those.
You get the idea that it's just going to be, dildos knocking you in the head and scumbags laid out on the floor, passed out, buried in Jenna Jameson DVDs or something like that. You walk into Sex World, it's like, my damn, this place is beautiful. You can hang out here and all day. Much like humanity in general, we're running low on time here on the program. But listeners have been texting in on this special day for marijuana drug abuse. A couple of text messages have come in. Thanks again to Tyler Thompson from High North Dispensary in Uptown, Invergrove, Cottage Grove. I think I got all the locations. Boy, was he a bright and informative young man.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Big day for marijuana drug abuse. Got a couple of texts from the brother and sisterhood. Amber says, I say you all take a gummy before tomorrow morning's show.
Well, Sure.
I won't do it.
I think I'm getting too old to start, but I have no idea what it would do to me.
That's exactly why I won't do it.
Me and Wapple should go like gummy for gummy. See how many we can take.
What if I start just all of a sudden I'm very opinionated and political?
That would be insane.
What if it just completely changes who I am?
Right, that's what I'm afraid of.
You're stuck in like a permanent high.
Josh is just completely yelling at everyone, just total personality flip.
The opposite of what it's supposed to do.
I'm afraid of what I would become.
Or what if I get super paranoid?
Right.
I'm worried about that.
That would be up your alley, I think, Josh. I think you'd get paranoid.
Well, that was my problem when I was a young guy and I experimented with marijuana cigarettes. There was some paranoia that crept into the mix. Not every time, but I had a couple real standout paranoid nights. That's part of my fear of messing with today's version of reefer. So great idea, Amber. Odds are we'd make it. We'd all live and probably not completely extinguish our radio careers. But I'm afraid that there's still that slight chance that it would become a total disaster.
It could, but that could be kind of fun too.
I can't in my head even imagine you guys being high.
Because I've never been high around you.
It'd be just so weird.
But I was smoking since I was 2. I was high before you was even a wrinkle in the sheets.
I'd imagine, Wapple, you don't change when you're high.
Not really. No.
Like
I mumble more, I've been told, but that's about it.
Do you get? I mean, because we've mentioned before, a friend of ours here at work, you can just see the unicorns dancing in his head, the rainbows flying everywhere. He goes from a very outgoing, talkative person to just sitting there cross-legged in a different realm.
Cross-legged, that's the best.
Just in his mind, he's floating above a magic carpet.
I miss being able to get that kind of high.
Yeah, I don't really get quiet. I don't get red eyes when I smoke. I don't really get hungry either when I smoke.
People always find that really astonishing, Wapple, when I tell them I don't get like the munchies. And I don't know why. Did you get them when you were younger though?
No.
Really?
Never really did.
I did when I first started, but then it slowly just tapered off.
Oh, wait, but there was this one time.
Here we go.
Me and my friend, we toasted some bread and then we put peanut butter and butterscotch chips on it. It was amazing.
Yum. It's such a high thing to do, Wapple.
Yep. I wonder if things like Crustable or Uncrustables and those different foods were created while high when they're too perfect.
Oh, you had to. Just because you're looking at a sandwich, you're high and you're like, man, I really don't want that crust, but I really want that jelly. And I really want the peanut butter.
DoorDash Diva Jesus wants to know, how do you know Wapple isn't high now? I don't, and that's what I mean. Like, he could be high, and I wouldn't. I don't have. You've got that meter, Nick, where you can go, that person's high. I don't. I've been told a few times, somebody I was around, wow, I can't believe how high they are, and I didn't pick up on one thing.
I believe I can usually tell. But I've been smoking since I was 2.
Yeah, 2. Somebody was a wrinkle in the sheets and all that.
And then I got this message that we've gotten over and over and over again for years whenever we talk about grass. What's it going to take, Josh, to get a joint stick in your mouth? And then you light it and then you smoke it. A few listeners always text that in. What's it gonna take? What are we gonna have to do?
I don't really see it happening.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Like, what if you like the NFL? You still follow that sham of a organization, the NFL?
I love the NFL. Yeah.
What if the Vikings won the Super Bowl? You love the Vikings.
I do.
Would you get higher than a giraffe's ass if the Vikings won the?
I would need it. I'd be so excited.
Would you still go to bed at a reasonable hour?
I hope so.
Okay.
I've been petitioning them to move the start of the Super Bowl up and put it on a Saturday.
Well, have fun, everybody, with the new weed stuff.
Yeah, for those that are excited, that's awesome. I mean, I am excited for you because I know this, for some people, this will change the way they go about things. And I think the fact that you can carry it around is pretty cool. I'm going to get a holster for some weed. I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to open carry some marijuana.
I'm going to get a bandolero and just have joints.
What is that? Instead of bullets, you're going to have joints in there?
Instead of bullets, it'll be joints.
Okay.
Papa, you bust them out left and right.
Now we know Wapple's high because that's an awesome idea. I bet you could sell something like that.
Yeah, you could.
You could definitely sell something like that.
And then you could sell a finger gun that's a lighter.
Shout out to Fun Size Sheezus and her husband and in-laws. They're headed to the mountains in Idaho tomorrow for a week.
What the hell are you running away from?
Well, they're all going together, so they're not running away from
the mountains in Idaho. I've never heard that said out loud.
We're
going to the mountains in Idaho.
Yeah, I didn't know that was the thing.
I thought they had potatoes.
Yeah,
that's
she
about it,
did
right?
mention potatoes. Said she'd have one for me. That's good because I'm not going to ingest those carbs. No way. Shout out to How Did I Ever Get Laid Jesus? Just quit his job. He wanted to shout out the Meyer team.
I've heard that line before from a listener.
What's that?
Just quit my job.
That's true.
Yeah.
This text says, happy birthday to my kick-ass mom, Jamie, a.k.a. Mom of the Year, Sheezus, who was pleased to find out she shares a birthday with that hunk, Jason Momoa, the Aquaman actor.
Jason Momoa.
Yeah, he's fantastic.